It's a new time, a new place. But these guys have done this before.
I had no idea we were going to draft Blaine Gabbert. Did your jaw just drop?
Yeah, it did. Did you sense the silence?
I doubt Gene Smith was on Twitter.
I don't know. You never know, man. Gene Smith might have a couple burner accounts out there.
You look at these media guys. These are the weakest people on earth.
Why
do I think he's talking to me and not
Brent,
6'6", 245 Austen Lane
Brent, are you listening right now?
It's Austen Lane.
You're taking away my comfort food in the most uncomfortable year of all time.
It's Brent Martineau.
We call it a Minshew Monday here on Action Sports Shacks. But those are more crapshoot picks, man. I mean, you can get Telvin Smith and you can get, oh, yeah.
From Jacksonville to wherever you stream, watch, and listen. Welcome to the Brent and Austen Show.
Oh, our second Friday of the show. We made it through 2 weeks, Austen Lane. Well, not yet. We got to get to 1 o'clock. But how about the Miller Electric Center? It was buzzing yesterday. We had some Jags activity, finally, with Ryan Nielsen, the new defensive coordinator, inside that building, talking to the media, introducing himself, giving his plans, his identity. Aggressive, downhill, take it to the offense. How will they be any good on defense?
Strong demeanor, strong mustache, strong press conference.
Yeah, you liked it.
10 out of 10.
10 out of 10.
Would recommend, would do again.
Wow, how about that? How about the stash, too?
I liked it. Yeah. I mean, listen, I felt
Magnum PI?
Little Magnum PI, little Goose.
Little Goose. I didn't think of Goose. Nice work.
Yeah, man. I feel like Miles Teller from Top Gun brought the whole mustache vibe back.
Yes.
But no, I wasn't mad at it, man, because he has the demeanor, he has the physique, I feel like, to rock that. And honestly, was anybody at that meeting room going to say, hey, what's up with the mustache? Should you take it off? No, man. That dude's a huge guy. I'm not going to say anything to him. I love the intensity. I love what he brought. And there's a lot of things to break down about that press conference, but I haven't spoke on it yesterday. All I wanted to hear was you're going to put your players in the best position to be successful. And I know it's so cliche, and I know it's one of the most common things in the NFL, but guess what? This Jaguars team these past couple years has not done that sometimes, it feels like.
Yeah, I would agree. I think this last rendition of the Jags did a better job of other renditions I've seen, really on the defensive side of the ball, and I think even on the offensive side of the ball. I mean, we're seeing some of the best offense. I know it wasn't as good as everybody hoped. We're still seeing some of the best offense we've seen in my 16 almost years here in Jacksonville. And on the defensive side, I do think they put guys in pretty good positions at times. I think they played with some stuff. I think sometimes it took too long to make an adjustment. But under Mike Caldwell, Austin, I like the 3 safety set they tried, the moving around of Darius Williams finally when they couldn't figure out the Shaq Griffin problem once he went out. I think the Antonio Johnson play seemingly has worked. They did kick Trayvon in at times, but they also let him grow for the most part over 2 years on the edge. They stayed patient with that. So there are signs of it, but maybe not enough. And I think we do talk about this a lot. How hard do you think it is for a staff, for a scheme, for all that stuff that goes into it, to say what he says at a podium like, hey, we're going to put our positions in our players in the best position possible, but to actually act on it when you get in the heat of the fire, when you have injuries, when things start going wrong, to do that. Because I feel like we've had this conversation a bunch over the years, and you're like, well, why aren't they doing it more?
Yeah, I mean, to me, it comes down to ego. If you want to be a good coach, go ahead and make your players fit your system. If you want to be a legendary coach, go ahead and make your system fit the players. As simple as that. And I think Ryan Nielsen, we've heard in the past, the players swear by him. We mentioned yesterday a little bit in terms of Cam Jordan, in terms of Trey Hendrickson.
Yes.
So, I'm not ready to call him legendary, obviously, quite yet. But the fact that one of the very first things he said is that these guys, will be put in positions to be successful. Obviously my ears perked up a little bit, and I at least like what he heard. Now, can he back it up? Can he stay true to his word? I would think so. Being a former player himself, he knows the game. He understands that, sometimes we ask players to maybe do too much. Sometimes we let our egos get in the way a little bit. And it's like, it doesn't matter what he played before. I'm such a great coach. I can coach him to be successful in what I want him to do. No, there has to be a collaborative effort, and I feel like Ryan Nielsen will bring a collaborative effort with the coaches and the players as well.
Let's hit the bullet points from yesterday again too that I mentioned about this guy that I thought we were going to see, and I think we did see, and now we get to see if it does play out that way once football really starts, and that is identity. He wants to play aggressive. He's an aggressive guy. He was pretty intense, right? And I think he fits that. And defensive guys usually are pretty intense. Seems like a genuine kind of good dude too. That I think the whole Disney World thing kind of helps help that part of it. Spending time with the kids. It's like, how long is this ride? I got to go get this phone call. That was kind of fun. But seems genuine, but also seems intense. And I think that's what you're going to get out of him. I think it's going to be some loud practices out there at the Miller Electric Center and on those practice fields. And I don't mind that at all. Intensity is okay in this sport, especially. So identity, I think, is going to be there. I think we already know what he wants to do. Will they live by it? That's a different story. But I think his teams and his players of past have said, hey, this is who we are. And when you know who you are, that is a much easier way to play ball, in my opinion. The other thing that really strikes me or struck me yesterday in doing research more over the last few weeks on Nielsen, and I think he reiterated in this news conference, and we might hear it a little bit later, is teaching and development. And you kind of forget that part, don't you? Like, you think that you made it to the NFL, or from the outside looking in, you're like, hey, these guys are really good. They're just freaky athletes. Let them go play. And by the way, there are times when you just got to go play, and you got to go make a play, and there's not coaching that really comes into play. But how much better did you get from year 1 to year 4 or 5 in the NFL through different teachings and everything else that you learn? How much did you learn coming out of Murray State? And while not everybody comes out of Murray State, doesn't matter if you're coming out of Alabama or Murray State or some Division II school, you're going to learn, right? These guys are experts at their field. It's the highest level of training, or at least it's supposed to be.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I've had a laundry list of defensive line coaches and defensive coordinators, and to me, the ones that I thought got the best out of me and their players were the ones that stressed the fundamentals. Now, the problem with stressing the fundamentals sometimes is that it gets kind of lost in the sauce. It's boring, it's mundane, it's tedious. But for instance, Chris Kasirik, a guy I've talked about before on the show, I believe now is the defensive line coach of the 49ers, might be like a special assistant defensive coordinator, whatever the case may be, his title. I remember being in Detroit, you had guys like Ndamukong Suh. I remember just every single day watching film, he would literally pause every single get off. So like the ball snapped, guys get off the ball, pause. And he would see who's winning. And spoiler alert, it was usually in Ndamukong Suh. The guy was pretty good. But he would do this for every single play. Now, why would he do this? Obviously, he's stressing the get off, but he's also stressing, hey, are you taking a false step here? Can we gain a split second right here if we put our feet a little closer? Things like that, because he preached get off, get off, get off. And that's the biggest thing that I learned coming from a small school at Murray State, getting to the NFL. Like, yeah, there's going to be athletic dudes. There's going to be strong dudes. It's the NFL, no kidding. But what sets you apart is how you approach the fundamentals and how you approach your craft on a daily basis. And some of the greats that I got to share a locker room with, the Jared Allens, the Aaron Campmans, if you will, they stress that every single day. And to have a coach reiterate that as well and say, hey, hey Jared Allen, your foot hit right here. It's you're not taking a proper step. To have, I don't want to say the courage, because it's not really courage, but to kind of, I guess, have the pomp and circumstance to say, hey, you may be a future Hall of Famer, you may be an All-Pro, you may be a Pro Bowler, but you can do better. And I think Nielsen is a guy who, once again, if you listen to Cam Jordan talk about him, he's going to hold you accountable, regardless if you're the last guy on the roster or if you're a first-team All-Pro. And I think when we talk about guys like Josh Allen, who's very established now in the league, very respected in the league, you could maybe even elevate Josh Allen to another level. What is that going to look like? Mm-hmm. I have no idea, but I'm excited. Exactly. And then you have a guy like Trayvon Walker, who's still kind of coming into his own, but obviously had a breakout season last year. You can elevate him as well. So I think when you have a guy like Nielsen who's not afraid to get the best out of his players, who's not afraid to address whoever needs addressing, you got to like that as a Jaguars fan.
Yeah, I think so too. We'll see it. Again, listen, press conferences, words, I like them, but then you got to act on it. And I'll say it again. There were a lot of things I liked about Mike Caldwell, too. Usually it wasn't press conferences, but they did some good things. I like the identity. I like the development idea here. I like where the Jags are going with why they picked Ryan Nielsen. I understand it. So let's get into it a little bit more. Hamby, let's hear from Ryan Nielsen and really right off the rip of this news conference, kind of what he said this thing is all about. It's a little lengthy, some of these responses, but I think there's a lot inside here. And I really want you to listen to this, Austen. I know you've probably seen it. But I think what I love about this is he identifies things like right off the rip, and you just got a feeling those are the things going up on the board, right? Those are in the meeting rooms. You know who he is and what he's talking about and preaching. He's telling us, the media, you know he's going to tell his team that. Here's Ryan Nielsen on Thursday.
First of all, we're going to be kind of the overview of everything is we want to be attacking and aggressive in everything that we do. How we fit the run, how we attack blocks, how we play coverage. We want to be a forward-leaning, forward-running, going forward defense. And you're going to say, well, what about in the secondary and backpedaling out of that? But when we make our break, we're coming out of that break to go hit you. And so that's kind of the two things that every day that the players come in, we want to stress. There's some things, fundamental things that tackling, takeaways, ball disruption, and pursuit. And that's what we're going to be about. Tackling, takeaways, ball disruption. You have to be a good tackling defense to be a good defense. Takeaways are the number one way to limit points. Ball disruption is making the offense play not on time. We're taking away a running lane or making a ball bounce or disrupting the quarterback. And then pursuit, keeping the ball inside, proper angles, running and hitting. And so that's what we're going to be about. That's what we're going to stress. That'll be the first thing we talk about with the guys before we even start talking scheme or, stance or anything like that. We'll start at that will be our foundation, and we'll go from there.
What made this?
Well, there you go. There is Ryan Nielsen, and I can buy into that, right? Tackling, takeaways, ball disruption, pursuit. Tackling, takeaways, ball disruption, pursuit. I think I'm going to start every show with it.
I mean, listen, you got to swear by that, man. Put it on the board, put it in the locker rooms, put it in the meeting rooms. I'm all for it. Hamby, I know it's a lot to ask of you. If you can just bring a picture of like that screen of Ryan Nielsen, I just figured out something that I want to address. But until that time, this is...
Does he need to be on Friday Fits?
Can you just pause it right there? Can we pause or not?
Yep, go ahead.
Okay. Why? Okay, perfect. Listen, I'm excited for the pursuit and everything and the aggressiveness. It's defense, right? You gotta be aggressive. Why does Ryan Nielsen look like Trent Baalke going to audition for Boogie Nights? Tell me I'm wrong. Tell me that is not Trent Baalke going to audition for a role of the new Boogie Nights movie, Boogie Nights 2 Electric Boogaloo. I'm done. All right. Anyways, yeah.
Did we have to start this way? We haven't even met that guy.
Brent,
I haven't even met him. Like you're putting me in an uncomfortable situation already.
For what?
He's gonna watch this and he's gonna say I said it.
He's not gonna watch this. He probably will watch this too, because a lot of things I said yesterday, he said in the press conference, so he's probably watching. No, dude, I'm all for the mustache, man. I love it. I'm just.
How would he do in Boogie Nights? Think it'd be okay.
Yeah, for sure, but I don't know why I got Trent Baalke vibes all of a sudden, because when I watched the press conference live, I'm like, nah, this dude's
But all of a sudden, you just got it. That just hit you.
I don't know. It hit me. Yeah, hit me like a cold shower, man. I don't know what's going on right now. But anyways, getting back to what his message here, in terms of preaching and everything.
We've shamed more people on this show in 2 weeks.
Good. No other sports show is shaming like us. Yeah. So at least we got to stand for
more coming at 11 o'clock.
Yeah, we have to stand apart from the pack a little bit. But no, I like what he's bringing to the table, Brent. Defense. The fun thing about defense is that it can allow you to be as intense as you want. And I think in terms of, listen, I haven't done the deep dives in terms of does he go ballistic on the sidelines, how's he in practice, things like that. But you just get the sense that the way that he carries himself, the way that he even handled this press conference, he's definitely a guy that's going to command respect, and he definitely has kind of an intense nature, so I do feel bad making fun of him a little bit because now I'm nervous as well. But with that being said, I think once again, it's just a press conference, right? But he shows a lot of attributes that I think you're going to want to see out of your defense this up-and-coming season.
Listen, communication is king, right? And I don't know how that was with this Jags defense as you got onto this year, because there were things that they were trying to stress that just weren't getting accomplished, and there were obviously some holes. But I got a feeling that this guy is, I don't want to say simple, but I think his communication might be simple because that's the way he started this thing. A lot of times, by the way, these are messages for the players. He has not had a chance to get everybody in a room, in a group. People are going to watch this. Josh Allen's watching this. Trayvon Walker's going to watch this. And you're going to kind of deliver a message. And I think what I liked was this clarity, right? This communication that I already know what he's all about, not even being in a room, not playing. I don't have to do a rep, any of those things. But now you see if you can check some of those boxes and deliver on it. If you're Ryan Nielsen, he did talk about Josh Allen and Trayvon Walker and other things in a bit, but we're not going to get into that just right now. We'll have more of that part coming up. Hamby, take us to the next one you have in front of you. We've got like 5 different clips from Nielsen, but take it any way you want to take it. Oh, the Jags. Yeah.
So really, when you start looking at an opportunity, you look at the people in the building. You look at the head coach. Coach Peterson, did not know him personally before this, but you do your research and you talk to people that have worked with him, know him. I was fortunate to be on a staff that had a coach that had worked for Coach Peterson before, and he said some unbelievable things about him. And then you started calling around just a couple of guys, just, you want to check, and it's so important that you work with good people, and we're so close in this thing, and we spend so many hours a day away from our families with these men in here, and you want to be around good people. And so that was the first thing. And then Trent, you hear the same things, and so you start working your way down. Mr. Khan, the owner, I mean, what's the organization about? How is the owner? And then didn't know that they built the facility, and then you start doing the roster research, and you kind of know a little bit, but then as you start digging into this thing, you're like, you know what? This is a great place. This is a place that we want to bring our family to and be a part of. This is a place that we want to help take the next step. And so, when we kind of looked at the whole package and everything that was going on, there was no doubt this is where we wanted to be.
You know what I really like about this? Okay, this is obviously speak of, hey, I got a new job today, and you would say the same thing if you came in here, Austen Lane, right, and say, this is why I took the job. Why the hell would I take the job if I didn't like the job?
For sure.
Right? But it's bigger than that to me, and I just shared this on social media, and this has been a big problem of mine at various times over the last few years. Before the Peterson regime, really in the bulky clown movement, Breyer situation, all that, right?
Yeah.
During the pandemic, and most recently over the last month. What I heard from that is the first person in about a month to defend the Jacksonville Jaguars organization that's like inside the building. We haven't heard from Doug Peterson in a month. We heard from Trent Baalke 18 days later, and he was more defending himself, I think, and throwing the coaches under the bus in a lot of that thing than defending the organization. At times he did. But you've got someone coming in from the outside saying, and this is the bigger one, whatever it is. Listen, nope, Baalke's never going to win the popularity contest, even if they go to the AFC Championship game next year. But for Doug Peterson, for him to say the things about Peterson, to do the homework on Peterson, to get the reviews on Peterson, to me, Austin, that establishes or reestablishes what we thought we knew December 3rd or 4th about Doug Peterson, what we had experienced like a year and a half. Like, this dude's still got a Lombardi trophy. He's very good at what he does. He's a guy you want to work for. Here's a guy you want to come play for. He's a guy you want to be around type of thing, because we've heard that about Peterson for a long time. But I think that gets a little lost in the collapse of 5 out of 6 and everybody gets mad at everybody. I heard a little defense of the organization. And later in the news conference, by the way, we might get to this, he talks about Trevor Lawrence and how good he is and other things. I thought Ryan Nielsen kind of stood up for the organization a little bit.
No, it was refreshing to hear a sense of cohesiveness that we haven't heard in press conferences here in the past couple of weeks, right? You had Baalke, Peterson, the strength staff, whatever you want to call it. People weren't on the same page. So, yeah, so to bring in a quote-unquote outsider, if you will, to get ingrained now with the Jaguars franchise, but to kind of speak their praises. Yeah, I mean, it's what you like to hear. And obviously with Ryan Nielsen, like anybody, regardless of what kind of job they have, people are going to do the research. They're going to look up stuff. They're going to ask around. And I think in NFL circles, I think in a lot of jobs in life, you're only as good as what people say about you. And winning a Super Bowl is one thing. It's not everything. Ask Mike McCarthy how people feel about him right now. But I do feel like winning a Super Bowl, coming from one of the best coaching trees ever in Andy Reid, I think that gets a lot of respect. And I think, having the demeanor and the attitude that Doug Peterson brings to a team, yeah, I think the guy does get his flowers sometimes, as he should. I mean, you win a Super Bowl, you're doing something right. So, yeah, it's good to see that Ryan Nielsen did his homework, asked around a little bit, and it's good that he found praise in his new head coach and the guy he's going to be working with.
All right, we're just jumping in here. We've got so much to get to. Daniel Griffiths will join us. We'll talk a little analytics as it pertains to the defense especially, but other parts of the Jacksonville Jaguars. I've been noticing his stuff, and I want to share it with you if you haven't seen it yet, and a little deep dive into the numbers that so many people are using. 11 o'clock hour, we've got Friday Fits. Austin will take us out to the TV studio, do some leg kicks and other things. And then about noon, we're going to Armin Stadium, and we're going to the campus of the University of North Florida to check in with new coach Joe Mercadante. Baseball Ospreys open up today and a debut for the new coaching staff as well. So we've got a lot on our plate. But coming up next, here in Jacksonville, more from Ryan Nielsen. What he has to say about the talent on this defense, and what I think stood out the most maybe from this news conference as it pertains to the X's and O's of what they have on defense, or maybe what they need on defense. That's next on the Brent and Austen Show. Just be yourself. Maybe we're talking about being a dad or a mom, a first responder or a teacher. Maybe it's a sports fan. We love those. We're talking about anyone in the Jacksonville community. At Community First Credit Union, just be yourself means being real. When you partner with Community First, it's straightforward. They're people connecting with you, so you can be yourself. I've been coming here to Community First for years. This is the Bartram branch, the one I usually come to, and they have mortgage loans, personal loans, and auto loans, and I'm almost done paying off that truck loan. Just a few more months. Good rates, easy online banking, and friendly customer service when I have a question. It's easy to be myself with Community First. They live up to the slogan in their name. Community First has partnerships in the Jacksonville community with the Iceman, the Florida Theater, the Jacksonville Zoo, and many more. Visit one of the Jacksonville branches or find out all you can do with Community First Credit Union at communityfirstfl.org, so you can just be yourself.
Start your morning right. Start your morning right.
A new day, a new traffic headache. But Action News Jax traffic expert Maritza Ross is here to guide all kinds of daily drivers, like the traffic dodgers,
Don't worry, I'm going to get you around this mess on I-95.
the side street seekers,
Now, you can exit early on 17 due
the
to...
last-minute leavers.
If you're getting a late start this morning, here are your fastest routes.
So let Maritza save you time on Action News Jax this morning.
Start your morning right.
Navigating to that perfect car can be a daunting task. Trust me, I understand, but if you want to find the perfect blend of sales and service for your automotive needs, look no further than the Tom Bush family of dealerships.
Here at Tom Bush, they do things right. Dating back to 1970, they've been a staple in the community, giving back and keeping everything local. With 4 different brands to choose from, BMW, Mazda, Volkswagen, and Mini, there's a car for every member of the family, and the customer service is second to none. Looking to add an electric vehicle to your fleet? Tom Bush remains at the forefront of new technology with plenty of staff on hand to walk you through the future of driving and help eligible customers file for that EV tax credit.
Whether you're looking for your future driver's first car or you want to step up to luxury and arrive in style, the Tom Bush family of dealership is the only stop that you need to make.
Stop by the showroom or check out the inventory at tombush.com.
I've been forecasting the weather for a long time, and no matter where I go, I always get asked the same question.
Hey, Mike, what's the weather gonna be like?
Hey, Mike.
Hey, Mike.
Mike, hey, what's the weather going to be like?
I don't mind being asked because I always have the answer. Great day for a perfect round of golf. Hey, a little rain later today. So go ahead, ask me.
Hey, Mike, I'm heading out. What's the weather like tonight?
It's the same question, even at home.
Mike Burrish, he's got your weather answer on Action News Jax.
Go where all the pros go. Jacksonville Orthopedic Institute takes care of athletes at the highest level, like the Jacksonville Jaguars players. They will take care of you, too. Our team covers a lot of teams here in Jacksonville: FSCJ, JU, the Axemen, the Jumbo Shrimp, the Sharks, and, of course, the Jacksonville Jaguars. JOI covers all those teams as well. And then there's youth sports. My kids play baseball and softball. And whenever we have an injury question, the first call is to JOI. Jacksonville Orthopedic Institute has been serving Jacksonville for 30 years, and they have over 30 specially trained physicians and assistants at 5 locations in the area. If your injury is specific to an area of the body, JOI has a specialist. They also are leaders in robotic surgery, joint replacement, and sports medicine. JOI Rehab has 13 locations and 90 therapists to get you better. Comprehensive care with caring physicians and staff at JOI. From youth sports to high school, college, and the pros, Jacksonville Orthopedic Institute. JOI. Go where all the pros go.
When the sun sets and night begins, Action News Jax is working to bring you the big, important stories at 11 you need to know about.
Live in downtown,
from Orange Park,
from the south side,
from all over Jacksonville, we keep you informed on local news happening now and get you ready for what's next tomorrow.
Plus, Chief Meteorologist Mike Burrish has the area's most accurate forecast to help you plan for the day ahead.
Live at 11, it's worth staying up for CBS 47 Action News Jax.
When you think sports, you think Action Sports Jax, the official station of the Jaguars, on location for every game. But the most experienced team in town doesn't stop there. From high school football to the big events in the area, Action Sports Jax is always on. Coming soon, we take that to a new level. Action Sports Jax 24/7 is around-the-clock coverage of the teams you love and the moments you can't miss. The best local sports in Jacksonville on Action Sports Jax 24/7.
Hey, welcome back. Here we go. Brent and Austin show on a Friday. Brent Martineau Austen Lane and Jason Hamby. And we are excited about today's show. Got a lot going on. And we came with Ryan Nielsen and the Jaguars defensive coordinator talking yesterday. Some takeaways from that. If you didn't hear the news conference, we're giving you a couple clips that stood out to us, including Josh Allen coming up. More on their scheme, where I think Austin can dive into and how they match up here in Jacksonville with the talent they have, and we'll get to the talent part. How good do you think the talent is for the Jags on the defensive side of the ball right now?
I mean, you have a good base. You have a good foundation because anytime you want to build a defense, you want to have 2 bookends, and you have that with Trayvon Walker and Josh Allen. Obviously, the interior, one could argue, depending, how healthy Devon Hamilton is going forward, can leave a little to be desired. So you got to address that. Secondary linebackers, can definitely get better as well. But listen, this is going to be a work in progress, right? I mean, we saw this last year a little bit with how this defense performed. They had moments of brilliance. When you play the Carolina Panthers, I feel like anybody could have a moment of brilliance. But you essentially got ran over by Derrick Henry, didn't have the demeanor, didn't have the dogs in you. So there's going to be a little bit of an overhaul here. But I do feel confident in the terms of if you're going to start from scratch, if you're going to build the foundation base up, you got to start with your edge rushers, and you already got 2 of those.
Yeah, that's a good start, right? I mean, you need those guys. They do have I think a Pro Bowl caliber linebacker with Foyer. They really need to just get more out of what they invested in and more consistency out of guys that actually have shown flashes. Devon Hamilton and obviously Roy Robertson Harris, and we're talking about Andre Sisco and Tyson Campbell. And again, I don't think Sisco's in the Campbell category. I think Sisco played pretty well. I think he got dinged up a little bit during the year and missed, I think he missed 1 or 2 games, but was playing hurt a little bit here or there. But also, what did he end up with? 4 interceptions? Mm-hmm. I think he's a good player for them. And now the Jags will have to fill some holes too. And it seems to me that the cornerback position is a high priority for Ryan Nielsen. Let's get his thoughts on the overall talent of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Here's what he said about them on the defensive side yesterday.
I think that we're talented. We've got a talented group. We've got some really good players, and that's what was exciting and attracted us about the job here. But look, talent only gets you so far, right? And so we're really excited to get to work with these guys.
That's a little about what you just said right there, right? Talent only gets you so far. And, the Jags still got to play well. They got to play cohesive. They got to play by their principles. They got to perform. Even if you're talented, you got to perform. Some guys do perform. Some guys, they're all talented to some degree. They wouldn't be here.
Correct.
There's one I want to get into before the Josh Allen part. This is the part that stands out to me most about Ryan Nielsen. I don't know if I've ever seen a defensive coordinator that you come out of a news conference or you're introduced to and you're like, All right, this part of the defense you almost feel is the most important part of his defense. When he talks about third downs, I think you'll get what we're saying. Or is it the man coverage? You have the man coverage one, Hamby, or third downs?
Both.
Well, let's go with the man coverage first, all right? Because there's a perception about this man coverage scheme that do the Jags have the bodies, especially at the corner position, to do it? I thought it was interesting what he said, and then we'll talk about getting off the field third down because it kind of goes together with this concept.
Well, we like to, as one of our coaches would like to say, nothing cheap and nothing deep. And so when you're press, you take away the quick game, and we like to play shell, which everybody, when you look at us, we, take away the deep throws. It may look man or man-ish at times, but sometimes there's some press bail and some nuances in the coverage of that. It actually is zone with tighter coverage outside. And so it's actually good that you see it like that because if we're viewed like that, then we drop into zone. It could be advantageous for, for us on defense. So, yeah, we're going to be mixing and matching.
So there you go. That is that man versus zone thing, this hybrid stuff. Do you think people have overplayed the man based on what he said?
I mean, a little bit, right? Because you want to go off his track record and what he's done before, but keep in mind every team that he's been on has been different, and I think he's going to adjust that accordingly. When you talk about man coverage, you have to have the guys to be able to run a man coverage. Zone coverage was implemented because, well, it can make up for some deficiencies, especially in the secondary. Right? When we talk about man coverage, you're talking about the defensive line and the corners or the safeties, whatever the case may be, the pass coverage working together. Obviously, defensive line gets home, create pressure for the quarterback throws, cornerback can make the corners or safeties can make a play off that, and you can make a big play. When we talk about zone coverage, it's a little more of, all right, let's confuse our opponent a little more. Let's confuse this quarterback. Because maybe we can't get home as much. Maybe we can't take the one receiver like we would like to. Maybe we got to double team somebody and things like that. So they always say, it's one of the most cliche things you ever hear on defense. It works hand in hand. Coverage works for pass rush works for coverage. But make no mistake about it. The most important thing, and I get that I'm biased, but this is the fact of life. The most important thing is the pass rush. Because it doesn't matter if you have Darrelle Revis and Richard Sherman back there. If you can't get home and you buy the quarterback that much time, a receiver will eventually get open. It's impossible to cover a receiver for 5, 6, 7 seconds. I mean, eventually something's got to give in the secondary and a guy gets open. It's just the way that it's going to be. But if you can get home in a second, 2 seconds, now you take a lot of, things off that secondary, make their job a lot easier, and obviously can influence a turnover or a big play as well.
This is going to sound dramatic, but I almost got the sense from yesterday's news conference, this is my big takeaway, that he feels like the secondary is a bigger part of it than the pass rush. It's not what he's saying. He's probably still saying more what you're saying and everything. You obviously can't cover for 5, 6, 7 seconds. But I think early is where the importance is on that secondary. And I think people do talk, and we put so much emphasis on the pass rush. Can you get them quick? Well, look how the Jags got beat up by the Bengals and Browning, by Mayfield and the Bucks, because of the quick game, short game stuff. What he ends up saying here is that, hey, if you can jam them up early, you throw off the timing of their routes, they don't have those easy throws. Well, now the pass rush has the time to get home. And sure, the pass rush has to get home in like 3 seconds or something, right? Not like 6, 7 seconds. But it's very interesting to hear him talk about the emphasis on the secondary, or at least the defenders covering receivers. Let's hear about that third down scheme that actually morphs into this, Hamby, when he was discussing it. He's not ready for you. So, okay, we'll talk. We'll get to that. Just tell me when you have it, Hamby, and then we'll get to the third down scheme part. But you got to know. All right, let's go through it.
Yeah, rushing coverage, right? I mean, really, rushing coverage. We have to be multiple. First thing we got to do is affect the quarterback in that we can't allow the ball to come out of his hand quickly, because then the rush doesn't get there. So if the coverage has holes in it, or we're give an easy throw, then it doesn't matter who we got coming off the edge, and we've got a couple of good edge guys here. So we've got to get the quarterback to hold it. The disguise is big. We have multiple packages on third down, so we week to week, or maybe we don't, and so keep them guessing.
So did you come out of this thing thinking, man, that secondary is important for this guy? There's a lot. I just don't remember a lot of defensive coordinators talking about this secondary so much, or at least us even on the outside doing homework on this guy. And for the last few weeks, since we know he's going to be the hire, saying, hey, can Tyson Campbell play here? What are they doing at cornerback? Like most people's takes coming out of the Nielsen hire and even the Nielsen news conferences, the Jags need to go corner early, or they need to get help at the cornerback position in free agency. Is that what you take away?
Yeah, I mean, obviously secondary's got to be a big thing, but this is a pass-first league. So I think secondary is important on any team that you're going to be on. I mean, obviously with this one, if you do plan on going a little more man coverage, then it's even amplified more because now you're kind of on an island, right? Now it's going to be the cornerback, the wide receiver, and you can't get burnt. You can't give up the big play. So, yeah, I think cornerback is obviously a position of need, a position of importance, but in a pass-first league on any team, it's got to always be a pretty line of importance.
All right. One other thing to get to here, and that is Josh Allen front. Of course, he's the biggest thing going there this offseason. He's the best player on your defense. He's coming off a record-breaking year. And I think if you listen to this, again, the guy that kind of defended the organization a little bit yesterday also punches home. I think this deal is going to get done. Here he is.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of production, right? Very important. And so when you got a guy like that and you want him back and think that's going to work out, would be really excited if that works out. Really excited to work with him. Heard nothing but great things. Talked to Josh and he's been fantastic. And so that'll get worked out, get him back and get him going and hopefully get him to improve. That's the ultimate goal, right? Just take one. If we can just get that much better next year, really, what does that look like? That's pretty exciting, right? And so that's kind of what we want to work towards.
That's good. That's what you just said at the top of the show, right? I mean, just make him a little bit better. And that is pretty exciting. Like, I loved how he said that. I mean, kind of like rhetorical question of, well, if he had 17 and a half and we get him just a little bit better, how much more dominant is he going to get? But did you listen to that and kind of feel like, hey, there's a lot of confidence the deal gets done? I mean, from his conversations, even with Josh, how much he wants to be here. Already conversations with Josh. Here's how sometimes this works. That guy who's in a contract year, who hasn't been tagged yet, doesn't have a deal done, he doesn't call the organization. Doesn't matter who you hire. Right?
Yeah.
I mean, sometimes you have that stuff. I found it interesting that Josh and him have already talked, and there was a lot of confidence from this soundbite, at least, that, hey, something's going to get done.
Yeah, I mean, there's no better way to get a feel for a team and what you have on defense as to pick your players' brains, right? So obviously you go with the best player on defense first, and that's Josh Allen. I think Josh Allen kind of gave him a peel behind the curtain a little bit. Obviously, I'm sure there's been a lot of film watching from Ryan Nielsen's perspective, but you still have to get a vibe of the locker room and the type of guys that you have on your defense. So with Josh Allen, yeah, I mean, if Josh Allen stays a couple more years, that's going to make Ryan Nielsen's job a lot easier. And I love how Ryan Nielsen referred to Shad Khan as Mr. Khan, because Mr. Khan will be writing Josh Allen the big-time check. So, yeah, let's get off to good graces here. Let's, bring home the point that we need to pay Josh Allen. We got to keep him here for years to come, and let's watch our defense be more successful because of that.
And one thing that we're not going to play from the news conference is his thoughts on Trayvon Walker, because I really didn't think he said anything about Trayvon Walker. I think he really danced around that one, and to me, it wasn't a dancing necessarily on purpose. I think, and you tell me, because you know this by being in the league, this guy got hired a few weeks ago. He's putting together his staff. He leaves Disney World to come over and get the gig or whatever. He's trying to feel out the players. He did mention, like, hey, a lot of the conversations right now are very relationship-driven. So it's, hey, how's your family? Where you from? Where you live? That kind of thing, getting to know them. Relationships matter, he said. Another nice thing for Ryan Nielsen to say inside that building, which is important. And I don't think he's gotten to the football side of it yet. Like, he obviously did his homework. He's watched film. He's done that stuff. But he hasn't necessarily had, like, conversations with Trayvon Walker or started to put around in his head, like, we're going to kick him down. We're going to do this. We can acquire this guy. We can draft this guy. They're not that far down the road. I mean, we're in the middle of February here. And I respect that, by the way. I just think he didn't really have a plan yet for Trayvon Walker. And I don't blame him for that. I think it's way too early in the game for him to actually know what he's going to do with Trayvon Walker.
No, I mean, it's a marathon and not a sprint. And obviously a guy in Trayvon Walker who's been very versatile in his previous college career. Yeah, he can do a lot of things. And I think, you know how I always say, you put a guy one place, watch him do his thing. If you want to bump him down for a little bit, bump him down. But coaches do love versatility, right? GMs love versatility. It's a term that gets thrown around a lot of times during the combine. But no, give him some time here. Let him watch some more film, talk to these players a little bit. I think he's going to get a great idea of where Trayvon Walker is going to end up playing.
Yeah, and again, you have to have those conversations with your coaching staff, everybody else. Oh, one other thing that did stand out to me, speaking of coaching staff, they didn't want to announce it. I guess it's coming soon from Doug Peterson. Seems like the press release will be out at some point. It sounds like he's got a staff. I mean, that's what he indicated. Do you think it's just this staff, or is it just this time in the NFL where more players are coaching, more former players are coaching? Do you think it's always been the case? Because I feel like it's way more noticeable for me. I feel like Mike Caldwell's staff had a lot of former players. Yeah. Doug is a former player. The offensive staff has former players. It sounds like he said some former players that he's coached are going to be on his staff. I think we're seeing it around the league, from the Antonio Pierces to many others. Even a guy like Gerald Alexander, that we know from Jacksonville too. Seems like a lot of guys are getting into the coaching ranks. Is that just the time we're in right now, the relatability to the modern athlete, or has that always been the case and I just missed it?
I mean, when you say former players, like former NFL players,
or
just
seems
former,
like a lot of former NFL
players?
Listen, most everybody. The unique guy is the guy that didn't play, right? The
Sure.
Mike McDaniel guy that didn't play football or whatever.
No, I hear you.
But everybody's played to some degree, but not everybody's played in the league. A lot of guys on Doug's staff and a lot of guys across the league now feel like they have gone from playing to maybe this whatever post-career and then back in to get coaching. I mean, look at Mark Brunell. Mark Brunell's a great example of this.
Sure.
He didn't do anything around football for a long time until he got back into high school coaching, and now he's obviously with the Detroit Lions.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like it's kind of always been the narrative. I mean, my defensive line coach is like Clint Hurt, who I can't remember where Clint Hurt is now. He was in Seattle, and then I
just saw his name recently.
I saw his name as well, but Clint Hurt was a former player.
With the Raiders. Might have been.
Mel Tucker was a former player. I mean, Coach Malarkey that we had, Mike Malarkey, was a former player. Like, yeah, I don't know the percentages or anything like that, the analytics behind it, but I always got this sense of, on every single NFL team, whether it's a position coach, a coordinator, or a head coach, you always had at least 2 or 3 guys that played in the league. Like Andy Heck's another example.
Yeah. But what I'm saying also, and I don't know this, again, this is just kind of a thought I had. It'd be interesting to go do the numbers on it. I think you're right. I think there are always like 2 or 3. What I think now, they're like 6, 7, 8. That's what it feels like to me. I feel like every staff now has a lot of – it's an interesting profession for people to stay in the game and get in the game and give back to the game. I think a lot of guys are getting into it.
Well, I think it's that, but also I think that they're more coveted now. I know Ryan Davis is actually with the Jets, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
Former teammate of mine, obviously very beloved in Jacksonville. The Selfie King, as a lot of fans would remember him by. I think a lot of owners, GMs, they appreciate guys who can relate to players now, right?
Might be more important than ever.
I would think so because, obviously players have a lot more power now. They kind of have a lot more say. They're in the spotlight a lot more. So you need coaches that can relate to that a little bit, that can gather the dynamics of a locker room and get the best out of their players. And I think being a former player yourself is only going to help things. So I think there definitely is more of a need now for former players in locker rooms, just because they've been there before, they know what it looks like, and they know what it's supposed to look like.
All right, that is your Ryan Nielsen talk for now, Jags defensive coordinator, and like what you hear, and now will we like what we see out of the Jacksonville Jaguars defense? More Jaguars and football talk coming up in just a bit, but when we come back, there was some clown on Twitter this morning said I'm not allowed to talk about women's basketball because I don't tweet about it every day. Well, isn't that the beauty of Caitlin Clark and what's going on there? What do you think about it? What does it mean for the sport, what she did, she's doing? We'll talk a little women's basketball. Very rare occurrence.
I mean,
here on the Brent
basketball
Austen
in
show.
general is rare occurrence on this show.
You don't like that? We'll get more. We got NBA Slam poetry coming up later today.
All good, man.
We'll be back. I like to say everybody has a story, and sometimes we're a part of other people's stories. That's the case here at Nimnicht Buick GMC. My family and the Nimnicht family. We've purchased 6 different vehicles from Nimnicht Buick GMC. Maybe you're in the market for a truck. Well, let me tell you about the GMC Sierra. I absolutely love mine. I've had a couple of these. This one's a 2020, but right now on 2024 GMC Sierras here at Nimnicht Buick GMC, there's special financing. A year ago, we purchased a GMC Terrain for the kids. Financing rates as low as 2.9% right now for eligible buyers on Terrains and Acadias too. Looking for used instead of new? Buy a used car with the Car Bravo program. Nimnicht Buick GMC certifies all makes and models. Let the #1 Buick GMC dealer in Jacksonville take care of you and your family. Come on out and see the showroom, meet the fantastic people, or shop online at nimnichtbuickgmc.com. Nimnicht, your friends in the car business since 1941. GMC, we are professional grade.
There's never a dull day in Duval. At Action News Jax, we know Jacksonville is so much more than crime stories. That's why we're dedicated to covering every local neighborhood. Real stories told by real people, making a positive impact. Plus, with our fleet of drones, the First Alert Storm Tracker, and our passionate team of reporters,
doing a story about the bad gas that was found here.
You know, if it's happening now and in Jacksonville, it's on. Action News Jax, local coverage you can count on.
The friendliest golf course in town, the Golf Club at Southampton. Local golfers have no shortage of options when it comes to picking a course to play here in Northeast Florida year-round. Yet time and time again, I find myself here at the Golf Club at Southampton. Easy to get to off 210 in St. Johns County. It's family-owned and operated and renowned for being one of the area's most player-friendly. That's just one of the reasons we hold the Action Sports Jax Dream 18 charity golf tournament here each fall. The Mark McCumber design layout is great for all skill levels of golfers, from the guys who bomb it a mile on the range to golfers like me who are just happy to put it in the fairway, which Southampton has very accommodating fairways. And if you need new clubs, come down to the pro shop. They'll fit you up and get you a nice new set like they did for me. For more information on membership or to book a tee time and see for yourself, head over to golfsouthampton.com or call the clubhouse at 904-287-7529. The Golf Club at Southampton. It's the official home of the Action Sports Jax Dream 18. Make it your home for golf too.
Thank you for making Action News Jax the best in Jax and Folio's Best of Jax 2023. Best TV station, Best TV newscast, Best TV morning show. Chandler Morgan voted Best TV anchor. The Chief, Mike Burrish, voted Best meteorologist. And Brent Martineau voted Best TV sports anchor. And while you're on the go, Best news website and Best local blog, The Burrish Blog. Thank you for making Action News Jax local coverage you can count on.
It can be daunting to fix or replace your AC unit. We've done it a couple of times, but it's a better experience because of Bold City Heating and Air. We visited boldcityac.com. They did the rest. There are not a lot of Jacksonville-grown and family-owned air conditioning businesses anymore. Bold City Heating and Air is just that, and it feels like it. They will help you navigate the process with first-class service, and they have no payments, no interest for 12 months right now on new systems. $50 off any repairs. Make sure you're safe and comfortable at home, and let Bold City Heating and Air help. boldcityac.com.
I'm Action News Jax First Alert meteorologist Garrett Beaton. While the sun is up and it's going to be a beautiful day.
Sometimes you just need a day to yourself. And Garrett's First Alert forecast makes sure you're ready to go out and enjoy. Garrett and the Action News Jax This Morning team, helping you start your morning right.
Discover how good your water can be with a new Connecticut softener and drinking water system. Connecticut's twin tank non-electric softeners are the most efficient softeners available, and their drinking water systems remove up to 99% of contaminants. We know that at our home. You can find out as well. Right now, you can save $1,000 or more when you bundle the Connecticut Premier Softener with a Connecticut K5 drinking water system. The experts at CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing will test your water for free and determine your water score. Don't know your water score? Well, CGC will find out and recommend the appropriate Connecticut water treatment solutions to improve it. The higher your water score, the better your water. Call 904-552-1242 or visit cgcwater.com. That's 904-552-1242, cgcwater.com. Financing options are available with approved credit. CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing are proud partners of the Jacksonville Jaguars, and I'm a proud customer of CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing, an authorized independent Connecticut dealer. Florida license number CFC 1432579. Hey, there's a look at Everbank Stadium and quiet. I'm trying to think of the next event at Everbank Stadium. Could it be Monster Jam coming up in March? There's no big concert, I don't think. Cody Johnson's playing at the arena. I'm sure there's some concerts at Daly's Place. I'd like to be at Cody Johnson. I've got the UNF Blue and Gray Bash instead. Miami Vice style. Wait until you do Friday Fits next week.
Okay.
When you get what I wear tomorrow to that Blue and Gray Bash. But, I don't think there's they've got flag football events down at Jags headquarters all weekend long with Jaguars Prep, so there's that going on. Cool. But I bet Monster Jam's the next time the stadium is being used for a big event.
I'm sure I'll be there. My son loves that, so full day in the sun with some dirt and some giant monster trucks making a lot of noise. Bring the earmuffs. Bring the dialysis machine in case you drink a little too much. Can't wait. Is Cody Johnson, is that country?
Yes.
Male or female?
Male.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Good.
Texas rodeo kind of guy.
What does that mean?
Like, that's how he grew up.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah,
I thought there was like a genre
like
of country
country.
music. I thought there was a genre of country music called like Texas rodeo. Which
No,
sounds cool.
it's like legit country with a steel guitar, actual drums, actual
I
bass.
like that.
Yeah, there's no trap beat or anything like that would ever be imagined.
So, Hamby, what we're saying, there's no holes in the jeans. We're in cowboy hats here.
Yes.
Yeah,
None of this new
is
school
Alan,
crap.
This is Alan Jackson-esque.
I like that
right?
a lot.
I mean, you like him. Yeah.
He kind of looks a little,
I
looks
felt
like
like-
Alan Jackson, but he's got the look of that old cowboy look. Yeah.
I felt like Alan Jackson rocked the hole in the jeans every once in a while,
He
too. But that was
might
more
have.
being a
He
rebel.
might
I
have.
mean, I appreciated that, though.
How good is the Caitlin Clark story? Like, are you into it?
Of course. How could you not be? It's greatness. I'm always into greatness.
How good is she? First of all, I mean, it's pretty incredible to watch.
Yeah, I mean, and once again, I mean this with all due respect to Caitlin Clark. When I watch her, she's one of the very few females that I watch and say, wow, she plays like a dude. Like, she could go to the NBA and hold her own, it seems like.
And
because
by the way, there's been women over the years that you'd say that about, right? From Cheryl Swoops, Diana Taurasi to Inescu most recently, right? Rebecca Lobo back in the day. I mean, there's been that stand out above the other women playing basketball, and women's basketball is as good as it's ever been.
No, it definitely is. It's more entertaining than it ever has been because you have the personalities now, you have the coaches and everything. Especially LSU. I feel like LSU, whenever they're on, I gotta check it out a little bit. See Kim
South
Malarkey.
Carolina.
Yeah, South Carolina as well. But I just feel like LSU, just in terms of swag with everything that they got going on.
Mulkeys. Yeah, she's a personality.
She's definitely is a personality. But now with Caitlin Clark, man, very rarely can you see someone just pull up from 35 plus feet with confidence, sink it over and over again. Like her game, I mean, she's a scorer, man. Like we're from the generations of the Kobe Bryants and everything, where wherever you are on the court, you're a weapon. That's what Caitlin Clark reminds me of, and she's so fun to watch. I don't get it. Like, I don't get how she's so good because I never really heard of her coming out of high school. It wasn't like, oh, the Iowa Hawkeyes land this blue chip prospect in Caitlin Clark. I never heard anything.
They might have
with
said
that.
it and we just didn't know it.
Maybe I didn't know then. Maybe that was the case, but she is fun to watch now.
Yeah, listen, I think there's a lot that goes into this. You just mentioned it. The NBA they're so gifted. The guys in the NBA, they're so talented. We've had the conversation before. Are they the best athletes of any of the major sports? And you can argue that they are. What's so cool about Steph Curry is not the guy throwing down dunks and windmills and out-athleting you. He's outperforming you because of the skill of the game. And I think that's what's cool about Caitlin Clark. She's got that kind of game. She's got a Curry-esque kind of game where she obviously can shoot it from anywhere, and it's very entertaining. And she lives up to the hype. I mean, she's got the ball all the time. And all eyes on her. She's handled it. If you listen to news conferences, she does a great job. I think it's so good for the sport. We're talking about right now in the NFL, Taylor Swift, the impact on girls and women watching the game, learning the game, being a fan of the game. We've had many examples of other female athletes doing this for young girls playing sports, but this is just the latest one, and she's captured the attention of kids, not just females, or adults, not just females. I'll tell you this, if I see Iowa on, I'm flipping it on and I'm watching and I get kind of glued to it Like, I'm really interested in it. 49 points. I mean, we're just seeing. We like to see special stuff.
Yeah.
And I think she's been so good for sports. And by the way, there are others, like you just said. I mean, there are a lot of big figures now in women's sports that have done great jobs, from Moki and LSU to Ariema and UConn. Obviously, it used to be Pat Summit and the Vols, South Carolina. I mean, it's a sport that has definitely grown in parity, in quality, but obviously she's putting it on another level right now. Do you see the places she goes? They are sold out and packed.
Of course.
To see her play.
As they should be, because once again, I don't care the sport. I don't care if it's women's basketball, gymnastics, softball, badminton, might be pickleball. I could have an issue with that. But every other sport, esports, whatever, we want to watch greatness, man.
Yeah.
And Caitlin Clark is greatness personified. And the cool thing I like about her, the cool thing I like about Steph Curry, the cool thing that I wish I would have liked more about Kobe, but I didn't like Kobe so much because I was Team Allen Iverson. I thought Kobe was too flashy, but then you learn about Kobe Bryant later in life, of his work ethic. Listen, Caitlin Clark is a special player. Is she the most athletic out there? You can make an argument and say probably not, right? Is she the most gifted? I don't know. You could make a debate for that. But the cool thing about basketball is that more than any other sport, what you put into it, you get out of it, right? There's a reason why Steph Curry is the greatest shooter of all time. He wasn't born with that. Like, yeah, sure, he's got genetics. His dad played anything like that. But how many times do you think when he was a kid, when he was in high school, when he was in college, how many balls do you think he shot from all around the court, day in and day out, to get his reps to be the shooter that he is? How many times did Caitlin Clark in the gym, when no one's watching, when she's in middle school, when she's in high school, or now when she's in college, how many times when no one's watching does she just pull up a 30-foot shot time and time and time again? And that was the same thing with Kobe. Like, we thought Kobe was just gifted, blessed, out of high school, all the endorsements, the right attitude. Dude, Kobe worked harder than anybody, and that's why he was so great. So that's why I love seeing a story like Caitlin Clark where, yeah, obviously she's a special player, but it took a certain amount of work to get there, and that's got to be the main focus for kids out there that are watching her right now that want to be the next Caitlin Clark.
The other thing I like about it is she understands the magnitude of what she's doing. She understands the stage, but she shows off, obviously, a lot of gratitude and talks all the time about the crowds that are coming, the growth of the women's game. She knows her place. Like, it's a pivotal time in women's basketball to take advantage of this, the exposure, us talking about it in Jacksonville, right? I mean, like, that's really the exposure that she's getting. Like, I had somebody on Twitter say, like, you never tweet about women's basketball. Don't try to jump on the bandwagon now. No, that's exactly what you want. And by the way, I do talk about the Ashland University women's basketball team, number 1 in the country in Division II. So I do talk about them enough. But that's what you want. That's what these moments are for. And now, can you capitalize on these kind of moments to grow the game even more, get more eyeballs, get more appreciation for the game of women's basketball? And obviously, she's a big ambassador. She's not the only one. There are many. We mentioned some of the other names. But right now, she is the one doing that.
And this is what it's all about. You know, like, not to be mean or anything, but like sometimes it seems like with sports that aren't as popular, you know, people want to go out of their way to try to push them, you know, down our throats and try to like contrive things, you know, and make people want to watch that. This is all women's basketball needs. All they need is greatness. All they need is legit players who can bolt from 30 feet and sink it. The more Caitlin Clarks you get, the more I'm going to watch. The more I see Caitlin Clark hitting the game winner, doing the John Cena "you can't see me," the more I'm going to watch. So the more I have Angel Reese get hated or liked and be the most polarizing figure it seemed like in college sports last year, the more I'm going to watch.
Yeah.
So
that was good too.
Just keep doing what you're doing and people will follow you.
I think I'd rather watch Caitlin Clark play right now, or maybe an LSU-Iowa game, more than any men's college basketball game right now. I'm serious.
Well, I mean, so it's
like,
wild.
I'm serious. I like watching men's college basketball too. But right now, I'm just I'm in.
Yeah. Well, that, and I can name you the top women's college basketball player. I'm not even sure who the top men's college basketball player is right now. I mean, maybe he's in Europe. You know, maybe he's doing his thing in Europe right now.
Listen, men's college basketball is 20 times bigger, 100 times bigger. And it will be in March, by the way, because of brackets and everything else. But I think what you said is not wrong. Like, you can name – how often does
Zach
that happen?
Eddy, I mean, it was Zach Eddy or whatever, I guess.
That's
But still,
fine.
I mean, it's
Your
debatable.
point is, well,
yeah.
The grocery store test, more people know who the best college basketball player in women's basketball is than the men's basketball. How often does that happen in sport?
And seriously, and I've watched a couple because, Badgers fan. I've watched a couple Purdue games and Zach Eddy or whatever, Edie. Listen, he's a great player in his own right. I would much rather watch Caitlin Clark pull up from 30 than big fundamentals Zach Eddy or Edie doing a drop step dunk. Like, I can watch Tim Duncan do that. Dude, I watched the Purdue game. He hit a 3-pointer first one of his career. The place erupted. Like they never saw a 3-pointer before. Meanwhile, Caitlin Clark from the land of good and plenty, like it's going out of style 10 times a game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This does happen in sports sometimes. It's happened in tennis with Serena Williams, I think, or Venus Williams. It's happened obviously in the Olympics. We get it in gymnastics. The women's stars more than the men, or figure skating. The women's stars usually more than the men. So this does happen. Olympics does come to mind, but it doesn't happen all the time, and you got to have an appreciation for it right now, what's going on in women's college basketball with Caitlin Clark. All right, let's take a break. We come back Friday, Fitz. Oh, are you ready, or should we be ready? And it's not just me today that gets roasted, although probably will happen along the way. We go big time. Those Super Bowl walk-ins, were they good? Were they bad? Usher might even make an appearance here. Friday Fitz coming up next. Brent and Austen Show. In Northeast Florida, we love hanging out on the back patio, maybe grilling out lunch or dinner with the family, enjoying the good weather, or maybe enjoying the big game on the TV. Or maybe your favorite team in town, the Action Sports Jacks team. This is great, except for when it's really hot or the bugs start coming out. But what if you didn't have to worry about that? Titan Outdoor Solutions will make your outdoor area a comfortable spot, any time of the day, any time of the year. This makes too much sense. Titan Outdoor Solutions can give your home an upgrade. Customized pergolas, awnings, controlled shade, even retractable screens. The solution to beating the heat and the bugs and getting more use out of your home is Titan Outdoor Solutions. And this can even help prevent storm damage at your home. Living in Florida and living in your home is already good. Now make it great. Quality products, custom work, locally owned and operated. Visit TitanShuttersAndScreens.com or call 904-484-7580.
Investigative journalism. It's the difference between the Action News Jack style of news and everyone else's.
I'm Ben Becker. This scam is targeting residents on the South Side.
We investigate so you're crystal clear how a story impacts you.
I'm Emily Turner. Take a look at the fine print because you're still getting billed.
Because our reporters don't just tell you what happened. We break down how it affects you and your neighborhood, which is why people are putting their trust in us. Action News Jacks at 5 and 6. It's local coverage you can count on.
Stop by the new car sales event happening right now at Greenway Kia at the Avenues. $500 in a job gets you in a Kia. And Michael Montiero and the staff here at Greenway Kia are here to make it happen. Experience great customer service and become a part of their family. And while you're here, check out the Kia Forte GT line, full of comfort, innovation, and has driver assist technology. And how about the affordable new Kia EV9, the fast-charging, all-new electrical SUV with high-performance capability, 3-row seats with 304 miles of maximum driving range. Over 1,000 new Kia models, some starting at $199 a month. And as always, get the 10-year, 100,000-mile limited powertrain warranty. Come shop at Greenway Kia at the Avenues, located on Phillips Highway. You can shop online at greenwaykiaattheavenues.com. And remember, $500 and a job gets you in a Kia at Greenway Kia at the Avenues.
Before Action News Jacks at 5 breaks today's top stories, know this. We're asking the tough questions for you.
Were you targeting the Tebows?
Our team of reporters are relentless.
Do you have anything to say to your former employees?
Working to find answers.
If we wait in the parking lot, you'll talk to us on camera.
Never stopping.
Have you paid back any money?
So you know what's really going on.
Your own counsel said it was an investigation.
I'm just asking questions. I mean, is it a conflict in your mind?
Action News Jacks at 5. It's local coverage you can count on.
It's a big month of hoops ahead at UNF Arena. The Ospreys are playing well and in prime position for a good seed in the A-Sun tournament come March. and we want to see you at the arena on February 17th. There's not a game that night, but we do have a lot of fun planned with the Blue and Gray Bash, the annual UNF party. We will be there with Action Sports Jacks. Dan Hicken and I play host. You just bring the fun. The event raises money for student-athlete scholarships at UNF. It's in the arena for the first time. Just click on the QR code you see or head to unfospreys.com for more information. It's an 80s-themed night with a sit-down dinner, drinks, live band, silent auction, and so much more. February 17th, VIPs get in 5:30 until 7 p.m. Then the main event is 7 p.m. until 10 p.m. Celebrate 40 years of athletics at UNF. 80s-themed prom attire. February 17th, the Blue and Gray Bash, bigger than ever before. And don't forget to check out unfospreys.com for news, schedules, results on all things UNF Ospreys.
Streaming right now on Action News Jax.
Let's get your morning started.
It's local.
Take a look at this surprising video.
It's breaking. It's weather 24/7.
I gotta keep you guys safe.
It's original.
More trucks, more food.
It's entertaining. Now it's new and free.
No one can do it like we do it, like we do it, like we do it.
Everywhere, anytime. Stream Action News Jax wherever you watch.
Perfect Rack Billiards has a deal for you. 50-cent wing Fridays during lunch. Get out of work early, get a head start on the weekend, or just take a lunch break. 11:30 until 3 p.m. on Fridays. Every Friday, Perfect Rack Billiards with 50-cent wings for lunch on Fridays. A perfect place to stop in Murray Hill, play some pool, play some darts, maybe some shuffleboard. Now, that's a heck of a lunch break. And get those 50-cent wings on Friday just to make it better. 11:30 to 3 p.m. on Fridays at Perfect Rack Billiards. It was always the Jags. Will it always be the Jags again in 2024? Oh, so much Jags talk coming up. We obviously had some in the first hour with Ryan Nielsen, the new Jaguars defensive coordinator. A lot to hit on there. A lot of fun conversation about what he could bring to the defense, what this defense looks like down the road, and obviously here in 2024. If they get this defense playing really well, you do think this offense will come around and be a highlight of this football team. It wasn't that way consistently last year, but maybe it gets there in 2024 in a big bounce back year. Jaguars certainly have talent to be able to put the pieces together. Brent Martineau along with Austen Lane and Jason Hamby, and Austin is now out of this studio and into the TV studio because it's Friday Fits, and as I just tweeted, 2 thumbs up for you. Nice. We see Austen Lane. I just tweeted Usher, Alicia Keys, Hamby, me, you. Nobody's safe when it comes to Friday Fits.
Yeah, Brent, can you hear me?
I got you, man.
Yeah, people are going to feel the wrath today, Brent. I have a lot of things to get off my chest. But before we get started, obviously, in true breakdown fashion, I have to get my papers. I got to wrinkle some papers up. I got to fondle some papers, if you will. And I have some thicker paper today. 2-ply, baby. Going to be a real intense show today for Friday Fits. Let's get after it, Brent.
I like it. Let's do it. Where are you taking us? Right off the rip.
All right, let's go to slide number 1 here. Yeah, you know, college dorm version, Brent Martineau here. A little funny story behind this shirt. So our producer, Hamby, thought this was Albert Einstein. Obviously, Hamby, a child of the 2000s maybe, has never seen the movie Major League. Shout out to Joe Boo, man. You got to always have the higher praise to Joe Boo. Brent, you want to break this down a little bit here?
Yeah, I thought I'd get a nice compliment on this shirt.
I saw you from a long ways away, and I realized, but it definitely, look, that's literally Alb.
Hey, but do you know how this photo is actually taken from 2002? Because Brent Martineau is still wearing one of those power balance bracelets. Like, those things actually work. Like, those things work anymore. But hey, Brent, keep wearing it. I'm sure your balance looks great. Mwah.
I won't tell you the real story behind the power brace, but you're right. That thing doesn't work anymore, and I still wear it all the time. There is a story behind of why I wear it, but I'm not going to go here because it'll take away from some of the levity of this segment. I will tell you this, okay? This is a breakdown of myself. I put this picture in, and I said, this is the first time I've lived for almost 47 years. And this is the first time I looked at a picture and was like, holy crap, you're getting old. I mean, you look like the old guy in the neighborhood, man. Like, I've been making fun of old people for a long time, and it's time to be made fun of. This is like old Brent.
That is old Brent. You know what? He's getting ready to yell at some kids to get off his lawn. I'm sure some kids got some super soakers or something. And Brent's thinking to himself right here, look at that look on his face. He's like, these damn kids, I swear, if they don't get off my lawn, I'm going to do something about it. With this power balance bracelet. Brent doesn't want to tell the story behind the power balance bracelet. I'll tell it real quick. Dude invested thousands and thousands of dollars, his kids' college fund, in these power balance bracelets. I think we know how that turned out. I'm not wearing one. Don't need it. Athlete, baby. Let's go on to the next slide, please. Brent looking at some awards that he didn't earn for sure in this picture here before we even get to the outfit. Brent, what are you looking at here, by the way?
That's all our awards.
When you say our awards, like the news stations, because these aren't all your awards.
Well, if you go down that hallway, it is a news station, but sidebar, a lot of our awards.
Okay. What a flex by Brent Martineau. Dude paid Folio $2,000, and all of a sudden he wins a couple of awards, feeling really good about himself, feeling super confident. Here we have more of like a 2000 Atlanta Falcons vibe. Brent Martineau here, like a Matt Schaub Atlanta Falcons vibe we got here. I think is that Bartram Trail here? What was that, Brent?
Oh, hey!
No, sorry. What team is that again?
Those are the Creekside Knights right there.
I know. I was giving you some heck there. The Creekside Knights shirt.
Somebody wrote in. Somebody paid you off.
The hat might be Texas Tech, could be Creekside, can't really tell. Could be a T, could be a seed. Stay tuned for that. I'm pretty sure Brent Martineau also is stealing Jaguars issued gear from the locker room. Because I've seen these shoes on the sidelines so many dang times. Brent never wore them last year. All of a sudden, it's all he rocks now. Hey, Jaguars, investigate Brent Martineau immediately. Shad Khan, he's taking money off your yacht. Do something about it immediately, please.
Not sure he's worried about those sneakers, but
he should
might
be.
be right.
Hey, he's got to pay Josh Allen. Every little dollar helps.
All right, where are we going next?
Let's go to the next slide, please.
Looks sporty there.
Oh, dear.
Whoa.
So many ways I can go with this, Brent. So many ways I can go with this. Well, first of all, he's drunk. Okay, you know what he looks like, honestly? He looks like the Terminator from Terminator 2 who killed somebody and put on their clothes. And I think he killed Brent Martineau because once all I'm seeing is blacks, grays, and whites. You guys don't believe in colors whatsoever. And plus, obviously these aviator sunglasses add to the whole Terminator aesthetic. But keep in mind, Hamby didn't play football. Hamby played baseball. So he might be the Terminator, but he's like a tween Terminator. So let's go ahead and call him the tween Terminator for the sake of Friday Fits, please.
How do you feel about glasses on a gray day?
Hey, Brent, you know what they say? The sun never sets on a badass.
That's right.
Now let's get to the real stars. I can't wait to hear what you have to say about them.
Yep. So let's go to the next slide, please. Man, let me go ahead and wrinkle these papers around for this one, Brent. My word. So we have Alicia Keys first. I mean, she sticks out to me, obviously, for various reasons. Just electrifying, all right? Just polarizing in this beautiful red dress. I'm not sure who made the red dress, but go ahead and give that guy a raise because she looked absolutely stunning. She had like that long flowing scarf thing that she was rocking to by the piano. Mwah! Chef's kiss. I give it 5 out of 5 stars. Usher looks like, you'd go to a Wisconsin wedding at midnight and all like the groomsmen are drunk, so they take off their jackets, they take off their shirts, and then put on their vests. That looks fine too, but let's be honest here. Us here at Friday Fits, we have a reputation, right? And we have a standard, and this standard is not being met right now. The outfits are fine, but I'm seeing the 7th commandment being broken, and I'm also seeing the 10th commandment being broken right now because Alicia Keys has a husband, and Usher is moving right in. Look at the hand placement, hand around her waist, and she's smiling. 2 commandments being broken at the Super Bowl, and no one wants to talk about it. Janet Jackson revealed one of her baby makers, and the whole world flipped out for 3 years straight. But we have 2 commandments getting broken, and no one wants to say anything about it. Brent, I don't know what to say about it. I'm throwing the papers up in the air for that one. Papers in the air, papers in the air. Next slide before I lose my mind, please. This one, I gotta grab my papers. Okay.
I thought that was CeeLo Green, I gotta be honest.
So listen, Jermaine Dupri hasn't made an appearance in, 25 years, right? The guy's been kind of over. He gets his chance. He gets his big break to come out on the biggest stage of the year, the Super Bowl halftime show. And what does he come out as? Goo goo gaga, goo goo gaga. The Dow Jones is down 5 points because we have a boss baby, okay? We have a straight up boss baby at the Super Bowl. Shout out to Boss Baby. Great movie, by the way. My son loves it. I love it too. Shout out to Alec Baldwin. But dude, you can't come dressed as a pilgrim or a boss baby and expect to get respect, dude. You've been gone for 20 years and now you're a boss baby? Next slide, please. We're off this one. Oh, boy. See, Brent,
Who is that?
That's Caleb Williams.
This is Caleb Williams. Okay? Now,
all right,
first
he just
of all,
dropped to the third round.
Okay, that's what I'm saying. Not off to a good start. Rocking those Brent Martineau dad shoes, you know what I'm saying? Those Brent Martineau. I say Martineau. He's rocking the Air Martineau's 25s there in his feet. Don't like that whatsoever. But let's be honest, man. I like Caleb Williams a lot. The guy's a competitor, a great quarterback. But with your fashion choice, you can't make the right quarterback decisions. So like Brent said, you're getting dropped down to the third round, man. Draft stock is plummeting. Mel Kiper is going wild. Todd McShay, who knows? And I'm sure Mike Tannenbaum is all about this because Mike Tannenbaum always makes the wrong decisions. Brent, what do you got to say about it?
Where was this? What was this from?
That's a GQ ad.
Really? Really? Like, what is he wearing?
I think that's a dress.
That's a dress, Brent.
The man dress.
It's a man dress. A kilt, maybe. I mean, Scottish people can wear them and it looks good. Yeah, I don't know much to say about this, man. I mean, it's a good color of red, rocking some jewelry and everything. I don't like the confidence that he's rocking so much with this thing, but hey, to each their own. I'm not going to tell you, you can't wear a dress. If you want to wear a dress, I'm sure it's very comfortable. If I could wear a dress, I definitely would. If I could just wear leggings in public, I would wear leggings as well, but, not sociably acceptable. Don't want to reveal too much. I just think that it's a bad quarterback decision, and it's going to hurt his draft stock.
Remember the boss baby outfit you just had? Remember when, was it LeBron or some others wore the shorts on the suit thing? It was in for like 5 minutes.
Yeah, for sure.
Is that what this is going to be? Is this going to be in for like 5 minutes?
Brent, this might have been in for 20 seconds on the show, and that's about it, man. I don't think this is going to be in anytime soon. I don't see Trevor Lawrence rocking this. I don't see C.J. Stroud rocking this. And I dang sure don't see Joe Burrow rocking this as well. Shout out to Joe Shiesty, if you will.
Yeah, Joe Burrow's turtlenecks look like gold compared to this.
Without a doubt. Without a doubt.
You got any idea what's going on around the neck?
I think it's just like, is that the scarf part or something? Or like a shawl? A shawl?
A shawl.
So maybe he just had his pro day workout, and maybe that was like a top. So this could have been actually his pro day workout. At USC, we're talking about California. They do things a little differently in California sometimes. Am I right, everybody? So this might have been a USC workout and a little post-workout towel here around his neck as well.
I got you.
Is it possible to go from that to the Alicia Keys dress? Maybe he was trying to impersonate. Maybe.
Well, I'll tell you what, if you got one of those Hamby shades around his eyes right here, that really would have put the whole look aside. But no, very aesthetically pleasing today on Friday Fits. We go from that Alicia Keys red dress to the Caleb Williams red dress. Really a theme that we're trying to fit here on Friday Fits.
Valentine's Day week.
Valentine's Day week, yes, sir.
There you go. All right, nice job, Austen Lane. I feel like I think I did well compared to our other contestants on the show.
Back to you, Brent.
Today. Thank you very much. Nice job with the papers. All right, let's get back to a break. When we come back, we dive into the Jaguars analytics, what tells the story on the Jags season, where they need to get better. Put your math hat on. Get your calculators out. We're going to class when we come back on the Brent Austen Show. I like to say everybody has a story, and sometimes we're a part of other people's stories. That's the case here at Nimnick Buick GMC. My family and the Nimnick family. We've purchased 6 different vehicles.
from Nimnik Buick GMC. Maybe you're in the market for a truck. Well, let me tell you about the GMC Sierra. I absolutely love mine. I've had a couple of these. This one's a 2020, but right now on 2024 GMC Sierras here at Nimnik Buick GMC, there's special financing. A year ago, we purchased a GMC Terrain for the kids. Financing rates as low as 2.9% right now for eligible buyers on Terrains and Acadias too. Looking for used instead of new? Buy a used car with the Car Bravo program. Nimnik Buick GMC certifies all makes and models. Let the #1 Buick GMC dealer in Jacksonville take care of you and your family. Come on out and see the showroom, meet the fantastic people, or shop online at nimnikbuickgmc.com. Nimnik, your friends in the car business since 1941. GMC, we are professional grade.
There's never a dull day in Duval. At Action News Jax, we know Jacksonville is so much more than crime stories. That's why we're dedicated to covering every local neighborhood. Real stories told by real people, making a positive impact. Plus, with our fleet of drones, the First Alert Storm Tracker, and our passionate team of reporters,
Doing a story about the bad gas that was found here.
you know if it's happening now and in Jacksonville, it's on. Action News Jax, local coverage you can count on.
The friendliest golf course in town, the Golf Club at Southampton. Local golfers have no shortage of options when it comes to picking a course to play here in Northeast Florida year-round. Yet time and time again, I find myself here at the Golf Club at Southampton. Easy to get to off 210 in St. Johns County. It's family-owned and operated and renowned for being one of the area's most player-friendly. That's just one of the reasons we hold the Action Sports Jax Dream 18 charity golf tournament here each fall. The Mark McCumber design layout is great for all skill levels of golfers, from the guys who bomb it a mile on the range to golfers like me who are just happy to put it in the fairway, which Southampton has very accommodating fairways. And if you need new clubs, come down to the pro shop. They'll fit you up and get you a nice new set like they did for me. For more information on membership or to book a tee time and see for yourself, head over to golfsouthampton.com or call the clubhouse at 904-287-7529. The Golf Club at Southampton. It's the official home of the Action Sports Jax Dream 18. Make it your home for golf too.
Thank you for making Action News Jax the best in Jax and Folio's Best of Jax 2023. Best TV station, best TV newscast, best TV morning show. Chandler Morgan voted best TV anchor. The Chief, Mike Burrish, voted best meteorologist. And Brent Martineau voted best TV sports anchor. And while you're on the go, best news website and best local blog, the Burrish blog. Thank you for making Action News Jax local coverage you can count on.
It can be daunting to fix or replace your AC unit. We've done it a couple of times, but it's a better experience because of Bold City Heating and Air. We visited boldcityac.com. They did the rest. There are not a lot of Jacksonville-grown and family-owned air conditioning businesses anymore. Bold City Heating and Air is just that, and it feels like it. They will help you navigate the process with first-class service, and they have no payments, no interest for 12 months right now on new systems. $50 off any repairs. Make sure you're safe and comfortable at home, and let Bold City Heating and Air help. boldcityac.com.
I'm Action News Jax First Alert meteorologist Garrett Beaton. Well, the sun is up and it's going to be a beautiful day.
Sometimes you just need a day to yourself. And Garrett's First Alert forecast makes sure you're ready to go out and enjoy. Garrett and the Action News Jax This Morning team, helping you start your morning right.
Discover how good your water can be with a new Connecticut softener and drinking water system. Connecticut's twin tank, non-electric softeners are the most efficient softeners available, and their drinking water systems remove up to 99% of contaminants. We know that at our home. You can find out as well. Right now, you can save $1,000 or more when you bundle the Connecticut Premier Softener with a Connecticut K5 drinking water system. The experts at CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing will test your water for free and determine your water score. Don't know your water score? Well, CGC will find out and recommend the appropriate Connecticut water treatment solutions to improve it. The higher your water score, the better your water. Call 904-552-1242 or visit cgcwater.com. That's 904-552-1242, cgcwater.com. Financing options are available with approved credit. CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing are proud partners of the Jacksonville Jaguars, and I'm a proud customer of CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing, an authorized independent Connecticut dealer. Florida license number CFC 1432579. Oh, we're having some fun now here. Almost noon on a Friday. Hope you're having a fantastic week and heading into a nice weekend in Jacksonville. Daytona 500 coming up, of course, but plenty of Jags talk as well, as always, here on the Brent and Austen Show. Brent Martineau, Austen Lane, and Jason Hamby. Nice work in the studio.
Can I make one request going forward for Friday Fits, please? Can
Absolutely.
you put out a company-wide email? Let them know I'm actually going to be in there every Friday doing this, because it's got to the point now where people are so confused and so baffled about me being in there and shouting that they actually come and watch and wonder, like, what the hell's going on?
Yeah, well, I don't blame them for doing that, but
Yeah.
I also kind of like the spontaneity of that. I
Okay.
think we should set up a cam on people walking in, and they'll be like, what in the world is happening here?
Do you know how hard it is to do your job of breaking down outfits when I see random people in the background coming through a door going like this? Hey, what? It happened a couple times.
And might happen again.
I'm sure it will.
I haven't got the email to kick you out of there yet, so probably coming soon.
Hey, but if that's the case, are we going to try to fight that email, Brent? I feel like Friday Fits is slowly becoming a staple on our show.
It's becoming a staple.
You know what I'm saying?
We'll see where the show goes,
Yeah.
and where the priority is on that. Here's a new segment. I don't know what it's called, but it's definitely a deep dive into analytics. Are you an analyst? Where are you on analytics?
You know how I feel about it? There's definitely some need for it, but I think when we talk about the 2-point conversions and things like that, you got to take into account more of the game flow and where your players are at more than what some numbers are going to tell you.
I agree with that. It doesn't take into consideration that all the time, right? I mean, you can say, give me 4th and 3 or 4th and 2, go for it in analytics all the time, but the flow of the game, the pace of the game, how you're playing, all that stuff, it's a hidden part of this that I think some people don't want to admit, and you live and die by the analytics. Like, obviously, Dan Campbell was a big part of this, right? His aggressive nature. We've got a guy that's very aggressive in Jacksonville, and Doug Peterson. But Campbell is so aggressive that you can tell me that the analytics say go for it on the 4th down, on the 2-point conversion in Dallas.
Yeah.
And then when you get screwed, I can guarantee you the analytics don't say go for it from the 7-yard line.
No, without a doubt. But one thing analytics don't tell you as well is how much respect he earns from his players when he makes decisions like that.
That's fair.
And that means a lot going forward as an organization as well.
It's amazing that you can gain so much respect by making dumb decisions, but sometimes it happens.
Brent, I don't get some of the hate you have sometimes, man. Dan Campbell and Kyle Shanahan, man, it's just, I don't know. I don't know to tell you.
Say it how it is.
Yeah. Didn't you and Sean Payton almost fight one time, too? Wasn't there a Sean Payton incident back in the day?
Not yet.
Okay.
All right. For the first time ever, we're welcoming in Daniel Griffiths. And here's the deal. I have no idea who Daniel is. I just see him on social media.
Welcome to
on
the show.
Twitter.
Okay.
Welcome to the show. And I think we work John Shipley with Sports Illustrated. He covers the Jaguars too. And these guys work hand in hand. And I see some of his analytics stuff out there, and I really like some of the tweets over the last season and diving into it and kind of make it easy to see. And so I figured, what the heck? Let's get this guy on and tell us a little bit about analytics, because you're looking up stuff, and I have no idea where it's coming from, Daniel.
Thank you, guys. Yeah, I think a lot of people underestimate how much data is out there for publicly. I was fortunate enough at the University of Florida. I had some data journalism classes, and specifically sports data journalism classes. So a lot of that, I'll be honest, is just knowing where to get stuff. There's so much data out there, whether it's sports or healthcare or the economy or whatever that the public has access to. They just don't know where quite to find it. And there's a lot of awesome data places out there that are putting out content, or I'm doing it myself. Sometimes I just will go through a game and track something, or someone sends me something, or I go to PFF or Sumer Sports, and it's okay. What can I? Sometimes I just notice something, and sometimes I'm going to look for something. So it'll be like, dang, the Jaguars don't seem like they're doing very well in the opponent's territory. Okay, let's track that. What exactly did they do? And try to both support some narratives as well as debunk some narratives, and maybe give shed some light on what the data provides as to how it fits narratives, specifically, like, the Trent Baalke was talking about Ryan Nielsen with man coverage. It wasn't that big of a thing. It's like, okay, well, he ran man coverage more than pretty much everybody else in the NFL. So there's I don't usually post opinions to go along with my data. I just kind of let the data speaks for itself. And there's multiple variants of things you can take away from every data point. I may post a data tweet that looks like it's negative on Trevor Lawrence, but it's like, okay, but why is this happening? Like the play action pass tweet that I had the other day. It's like, okay, well, you have to create the environment for play action to work. It's not just a singular singular tweet about one player, or it's a very, obviously, as you guys know, team oriented game.
Yeah, absolutely. Daniel Griffith's with us, by the way, recent graduate of the University of Florida, majored in journalism. Focus in on sports data journalism. That's the way of the world now. I mean, there are analytics majors. I think Syracuse has an analytics major, if I'm not mistaken. And I don't know how popular they are across the country and in colleges, but sports data journalism is an interesting analytical approach to a lot of the things going on in the world of sports. Austin, I think, people don't like math to begin with. Most people.
Oh, join the club, Brent. Anxiety out the roof. Yes.
Yeah,
it's the worst.
One of the first sportscasts I ever did in my career in Alexandria, Louisiana. I like numbers. So in my intro to the before we got in a piece of video, 15, 20 seconds, I probably gave 3 stats, and my sports director at times don't ever do that again. He's like, people don't like numbers.
Sure.
He's like, they have no idea what you just said.
Yeah.
And always 25 years later, it still sticks with me as one of the great pieces of advice. And it's funny where we've gone now because, Daniel, I think we have the numbers to support, debunk, whatever it is. But I actually think these graphs, if you're not good at geometry or other things that are shown out there, I just don't know if people understand it. I think it's hard to comprehend exactly what it is saying unless you know. From EPA to DVOA to a graph that sometimes we can follow a graph. We can follow the graph that says Ridley has more PI calls than anybody else in the league. He was on another planet, right? And we watched it, we understood it. But do you find that a lot? People maybe come back and say, what does this even mean?
I do, and sometimes I don't know. I have to go look up what exactly. Not so much for football, but baseball definitely. The analytics in baseball and sabermetrics is well beyond my head. So that is sometimes where it's okay, and it's difficult to do it in tweet form. I try to do it in my articles, but in tweet form, you only get so many characters, and I don't want to just write a paragraph explaining. But I figure, the more that is put out there, and the more common it becomes to have data be implemented into the world of sports. My hope is that becomes something that is increasingly more well known across the public.
Well, and Daniel, when it comes to social media too, you've kind of found the golden ticket in terms of you just share the data. You don't. It's nothing. None of your opinions, right? So if you say something wrong, hey, it's science, man. This isn't me talking. This is science right here. A few questions for you. So obviously, this has to be super time consuming sometimes to break down one of these, these things. What's the longest that you've ever spent on one, I guess, thing of data? And also, how long do these things usually take you to work through?
Some of them are really easy. Sometimes I'm looking for one specific thing, and then I go and find it, and that's that. Sometimes I don't know exactly what I want to post on a particular day, and I'll be like, okay, let's see what's interesting. What about the Jaguars rush yards average on third down, or 3rd and 3 or less. But the longest one that I've done for the Jaguars was probably the Jaguars' success in opponent territory.
That's mine. That's mine too, Daniel. I did that on a piece of paper though. I didn't look up on the computer. Was I close or what? They sucked on the other side of the field.
Yeah, they were pretty bad. So they were the 32nd in fumbles. And they had 13 turnover on downs, I think, last year in opponent's territory. So that's pretty rough. You guys were talking about the analytics of when to go for it on 4th down. I don't get into that stuff. I just I don't do predictive stuff too often. The longest one I've ever done was a analytical piece I did on the NFL draft, looking at what measurables matter most. Arm length is a huge thing for this.
Trent Bulk is going crazy.
So I actually included his quote in my paper. So for the last, I did 2015 to 2021. Those players those drafts, and arm length had a negative correlation. So as arm length shrunk, the players got better on average.
Wow.
Which it doesn't surprising because the edge rusher position is becoming lighter and smaller. So with that becomes less arm length. But yeah, that was a fun one. So athleticism, speed, quickness, those are the biggest things for defensive ends athletically, rather than arm length.
Well, did you take Aaron Donald into account as well? Because I feel like, I mean,
he would throw it
he's
off,
an
right?
interior, but yeah, it's what we call an outlier, I think, Brent, in the math community, if I'm not mistaken.
I wanted to do. I'm going to do corners this year. I wanted to do defensive linemen. I just don't know how fair it is to them because it only looks at pass rush data. There's not much run defense data out there, and I feel like that's unfair. Obviously, run defense matters for defensive ends and edge rushers as well, but it's much more of a defensive tackle, nose tackle trait, and I don't think that's fair to only look at pass rush success when you've got a bunch of really great run stuffing defensive tackles out there that are definitely worth their money.
Yeah, it's really cool. Listen, Daniel Griffiths really breaks it down. What I do like, actually, is it does come without bias, really. I mean, obviously, he's wearing Jags stuff, so it seems like a Jags fan from around here. But you kind of let the data speak for itself. So let's do that right now. Let's, Hamby, we've got a couple. I don't know. Hamby, you can throw one up, and then we'll go with. We got like 4 different clips, and we'll or tweets from Daniel, and then we'll break them down a little bit. And Daniel, we're showing this on the screen right now. Situational offense. My goodness. Short yardage, not very good. Stunner in Jacksonville. Take us through this tweet if you can see it. Did we just replace Daniel with the tweet? There he is. There he is. We got you back. We'll figure it. You can replace me with the tweet if you need to, Hamby. But what about that offensive one?
Yeah, 2.2 yards per carry is certainly not desirable. I mean, I think we all felt it watching the film, and I wanted to see just exactly how bad it was because it felt like the Jaguars almost had a better chance to get it on 3rd and 7 than they did in 3rd and 2. I was jokingly watching I think it was the Bengals game I went to with my friend, and I was like, oh no, it's 3rd and 7. Or 3rd and 3. I'd rather it be 3rd and 7 or something. This is it's not great. And the passing game on those situations wasn't much better. I listed the 59.8 NFL rating. Whether it was run or pass, it seemed like is kind of dang if you do, dang if you don't there. And similarly, 3rd down, we had a lot of 3rd and short. The short yardage includes 1st and 2nd. Well, obviously not really 1st down, but unless you're in goal line formation, but 2nd and 3rd down as well. But the 3rd down, 17th in 3rd down conversion rate and 25th in EPA. EPA is expected points added. Each play is warranted a point value. That's expected. And then depending on the outcome of that play, you get more or less points. For instance, if say it's 3rd and 5 and you get 10 yards, it's worth a lot more than like you get 10 yards on 1st and 10.
Yeah.
So kind of each yard is not weighed the same. It's very dependent on what scenario you're in. And then the red zone efficiency, 50% is just not good enough, and that's even when they get into the red zone. When they're just outside the red zone, they're even worse. So.
Yeah, they obviously had the issues. All right, next one up, we got defense, defensive EPA. Again, you just mentioned that per play, and we saw the fall off in the second half of the year. The numbers kind of, verified that, right?
Yeah, some of that has to do with injuries. I'm sure. I know the defense was kind of banged up there at the later half of the year, especially in the secondary. But the missed tackles also really started to tally up. I posted like halfway through the year the Jaguars missed tackles numbers, and they weren't that bad. They were actually much improved from last year. And then middle of the year hit, and that plummeted, and it is nowhere near as graceful as it once was. They're kind of down at the bottom of the league again in that. So that definitely busted plays, missed tackles. The Jaguars, Doug Peterson kind of talked about what happened to the defense falling apart, and the data, as we all saw, proves our theories right as the defense kind of fell apart, and that's probably why you saw them move on from Mike Caldwell and go after a guy like Ryan Nielsen.
So, Daniel, how do we get those numbers then? Weeks 1 through 9, I think it's minus 0.108. And then weeks 10 through 18, we have 0.031. How do we arrive at those numbers? What kind of data gets put into that to come up with those numbers?
Sure. So for our defense, negative would be better.
Yeah.
And for defense, positive would be worse. So 0 is about if everything worked out the way that it should, 0 would be about the expected value. And there's several factors that go into it. Offense is a little bit easier because you can designate that into each player gets a specific value of their contribution to the play. Defense is more of a holistic look. They don't like to segment that into players or position groups, but so this is per play, and over the course of the year, it's assigned. I don't know what exactly the equation for EPA is. I know that the range and -1 is about as good as it gets, especially because turnovers have a very high EPA integer that factor into that. And the Jaguars were leading the league in turnovers until I think the Niners game, something like that.
That probably boosted their score the last couple of years, really,
For sure.
when you think about it.
Well, and I do appreciate, too, what he mentioned, which is really important, how the defense gets looked at differently because we're not sure what the defense is doing, right? You can watch an offensive play and be like, okay, this guy's blocking this guy, or this guy's going to catch the ball, or he's, it's pretty obvious. On defense, you're not really sure if this guy's going to be in zone coverage. Is he, taking up a space? You're not really sure what's going to happen on defense. So I think that was a great point by Daniel there where it's like, you're not quite sure what the defense is actually doing, what their goal is, but it still gets marked differently. I hope PFF's listening.
Yeah, well, that's the problem. That's probably why that's the leaky part, right, of PFF. That's also the leaky part of our eyes. We don't know the rules of a defense or in a certain player and whose rule was broken potentially or assignment was broken on a particular play. I go back to 3rd and 17 against the New England Patriots, and I've had like 5 different people blame 5 different players on that play in the AFC Championship game. And we still really, I don't know if everybody's covering for people or whose real fault was it that play actually went for a first down. And the outside looking in is much more difficult than inside the room when they go over these things and they knew what was called and what was supposed to happen. You're looking at one, obviously, on defensive coverage. This plays into Ryan Nielsen, the man versus zone stuff of what the Jaguars did. And Nielsen, by the way, is a heavy man guy, or at least more favorable than anybody else. I want to get to one last one before we say goodbye to Daniel Griffiths, who's with us, breaking down some of these numbers, and that's the pass rush, Hamby, because I also want to get Austin's thoughts on this. Allen Walker had such a big year. It was bigger than any duo in the league. 27.5 sacks. But what Daniel points out in this other tweet here is that 12.5 sacks for the rest of the Jags defense. Is it okay to be that top heavy? Do they need a lot of extra help, Austin, in that area?
I mean, no, because generally you're going to be a little top heavy, right? I'm sure TJ Watt is top heavy.
Well, I'll go. Chris Jones last year is a great example of this. He had like 15.5 sacks. I think Kansas City had like 50-something sacks.
Okay.
So they got a lot of help, but their next highest guy was like 6. It was like Karlaftis This is not this past year. This is like 2 years ago.
Okay.
But I remember having this conversation. But Chris Jones was like, boom. And then everybody else was down here. But they did have way more contribution than just 12.5.
Yeah, I mean, obviously you want to get that up a little bit, whether it's from your interior, whether it's from your linebackers blitzing, a corner blitz. Like every once in a while, those good defenses that you talk about, they get contributors from a lot of teams. I think of the Ravens as maybe the gold standard right now in terms of, you could have a safety. Was it Kyle Hamilton?
Yeah.
I think he had 2 sacks in a game. You could have a linebacker, 2 sacks in a game, and obviously their edge rushers as well. So, yeah, I mean, if you want to be an elite top-tier defense, you need help from everybody, but it does help to have those 2 bookends at the edge who can get you 10-plus sacks a season.
What sticks out to you here, Daniel, on this specific slide?
I'd like to see some more help from the interior. The Jaguars signed Roy Robertson Harris and Foley Fatukasi to really big contracts, and Devon Hamilton recently. I know he had a saddening year with his illness, injury, whatever it was designated as. And the interior really kind of suffered there. Walker and Allen had a fantastic year. The run defense was still mostly fine. is just the help around Allen and Walker in terms of the pass rush was really weak. Foye, I think, was fourth on the team in pressures, if I remember correctly. And that's your linebacker, off-ball linebacker, who doesn't really rush that much. But I'd like to see. I'd really like to see some mix up as well. Trey Herndon had a really good season rushing from slot. He was one of the top pass rushing slot corners. So that was good to see. I was happy whenever they mixed that in a little bit. Trent McDuffie won the Chiefs the Super Bowl with his slot blitz. So I'd like to see some help there. I mostly just wanted to spotlight, hey, this is an area the Jaguars could focus on in free agency or the draft. This is an area where I think that they could really get some youth into that group. Fatukasi, Roy Robertson, Harris aren't spring chickens, and maybe get a developmental guy that can learn behind those guys and maybe mesh with Devon Hamilton for the future. I imagine he's going to be there for a few years. They signed him to a big deal, so.
Yeah, I think you're right, by the way, and they're kind of pot committed. Like this year, they've got to get better play out of those guys. Now, Fatukasi, do they move on from him? Dead money. We had the conversation earlier this week, but bottom line is they need more production from Roy Robertson Harris, Devon Hamilton, if Fatukasi's around. But I think Daniel's right. They also need to start thinking about down the road, which sometimes people around here don't like about the draft, where you think about down the road. But they need to develop some younger stud talent, find that's also cheaper, so they can spend in other positions. But I agree with you. I think they need way more out of their defensive interior, just like they need way more out of their offensive interior. All right, Daniel Griffiths, that was math class in 15 minutes, man. Thanks for taking us through some of that, and we'll get you on from time to time so you can break down some of these numbers and educate us.
All right. Thank you guys very much for having me. Go Jaguars.
Thanks, Daniel.
Good to hear from you. And make sure you follow Daniel, by the way, at Dan D. Griffiths, Griffis. Dan D. Griffiths. Again, just the idea of, I reached out to, I don't know Daniel until just now. But we had reached out because during the season, I see all these graphs, right? These bar graphs. Everybody tweets them out and shares them. And I'm like, I don't understand what all this means. Sure. Like I get it. I understand, like, kind of putting it in a bucket. But my mind just can't, I can't get all that. It's too much information. But then I would see Daniel's tweets. I'm like, okay, I understand this. This is like 3 lines like that. Okay, that makes sense. And also, give me a ranking. Okay, they're middle of the pack. Like, I don't know what the hell the .103 number means, but I know what 15 means.
Sure. Yeah.
Exactly. Out of 32.
Yeah.
So, and I know the bar graphs, by the way, or the whatever graphs with the logos on it, they kind of work the same way. If you look at the center point, I wasn't good at geometry. I like math. I don't like geometry. I don't like those graphs, man. Those graphs bother me.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, a big one that you shared was, the turnovers in your opponent's territory, right? And just how detrimental that was. And it really kind of opens your eyes a little bit. So with that being said, how much did Press Taylor pay Daniel to show that to Shad Khan to keep his job? Because, I mean, Daniel had all the freshest Jaguars stuff on. Am I supposed to believe that he actually paid for that? Or was that a gift from a certain Press Taylor?
By the way, Daniel might be, you might have to apply in Tony Khan's department.
Now we're talking the analytical department.
There we go.
Yeah, man.
I think that is kind of cool for younger people. I've thought about this with my son. Like, hey, you could get into analytics. Like, sports jobs used to be you play, you coach, you get into like athletic training, something like that. Now, like, the analytics opens up this whole new, everybody's using it, and it's branching out. It's getting deeper and deeper, and we can have debates about it, but the bottom line is it ain't going anywhere.
Yeah, it's not going anywhere, and I'll never understand it, but thank God we got people like Daniel up there to try to break it down and spoon-feed it to me because, man, I can't stress this enough. Math just wasn't my thing.
That was the point of it a little bit, and maybe, that's why I'd like to develop this a little bit with Daniel, and especially when you get into the season, is if you have a narrative, if you have, like, a question, or maybe he can help us dig up a number or something that verifies, supports it, debunks it, whatever it is, because our eyes don't always tell the entire story. All right, when we come back here on the Brent and Austen Show, a little baseball over at the University of North Florida. College baseball begins today around the country in the Division I ranks, so that means a new era starts for Joe Mercadante and the UNF Ospreys. We're going to hopefully head over to Osprey Land just around the corner from here and have the head coach on when we return. Noon hour. to put a bow on a week. Week number 2, Brent and Austen Show. And don't forget, Action Sports Jacks 24/7 coming soon around the corner. We keep working on it. We've got more stuff in the works for later this month and well beyond. We're just warming up on this new show on social media and plenty more platforms to find us in the weeks to come.
In Northeast Florida, we love hanging out on the back patio, maybe grilling out lunch or dinner with the family, enjoying the good weather, or maybe enjoying the big game on the TV. Or maybe your favorite team in town, the Action Sports Jacks team. This is great, except for when it's really hot or the bugs start coming out. But what if you didn't have to worry about that? Titan Outdoor Solutions will make your outdoor area a comfortable spot any time of the day, any time of the year. This makes too much sense. Titan Outdoor Solutions can give your home an upgrade. Customized pergolas, awnings, controlled shade, even retractable screens. The solution to beating the heat and the bugs and getting more use out of your home is Titan Outdoor Solutions. And this can even help prevent storm damage at your home. Living in Florida and living in your home is already good. Now make it great. Quality products, custom work, locally owned and operated. Visit TitanShuttersAndScreens.com or call 904-484-7580.
Investigative journalism. It's the difference between the Action News Jack style of news and everyone else's.
I'm Ben Becker. This scam is targeting residents on the South Side.
We investigate so you're crystal clear how a story impacts you.
I'm Emily Turner. Take a look at the fine print because you're still getting billed.
Because our reporters don't just tell you what happened, we break down how it affects you and your neighborhood, which is why people are putting their trust in us. Action News Jacks at 5 and 6. It's local coverage you can count on.
Stop by the new car sales event happening right now at Greenway Kia at the Avenues. $500 in a job gets you in a Kia. And Michael Montiero and the staff here at Greenway Kia are here to make it happen. Experience great customer service and become a part of their family. And while you're here, check out the Kia Forte GT line, full of comfort, innovation, and has driver assist technology. And how about the affordable new Kia EV9, the fast-charging, all-new electrical SUV with high-performance capability, 3-row seats with 304 miles of maximum driving range. Over 1,000 new Kia models, some starting at $199 a month. And as always, get the 10-year, 100,000-mile limited powertrain warranty. Come shop at Greenway Kia at the Avenues, located on Phillips Highway. You can shop online at greenwaykiaattheavenues.com. And remember, $500 and a job gets you in a Kia at Greenway Kia at the Avenues.
Before Action News Jacks at 5 breaks today's top stories, know this. We're asking the tough questions for you.
Were you targeting the Tebows?
Our team of reporters are relentless.
Do you have anything to say to your former employees?
Working to find answers.
If we wait in the parking lot, you'll talk to us on camera.
Never stopping.
Have you paid back any money?
So you know what's really going on.
Your own counsel said it was an investigation.
I'm just asking questions. I mean, is it a conflict in your mind?
Action News Jacks at 5. It's local coverage you can count on.
It's a big month of hoops ahead at UNF Arena. The Ospreys are playing well and in prime position for a good seed in the A-Sun tournament come March. And we want to see you at the arena on February 17th. There's not a game that night, but we do have a lot of fun planned with the Blue and Gray Bash, the annual UNF party. We will be there with Action Sports Jacks. Dan Hicken and I play host. You just bring the fun. The event raises money for student-athlete scholarships at UNF. It's in the arena for the first time. Just click on the QR code you see or head to unfospreys.com for more information. It's an 80s-themed night with a sit-down dinner, drinks, live band, silent auction, and so much more. February 17th, VIPs get in 5:30 until 7 p.m. Then the main event is 7 p.m. until 10 p.m. Celebrate 40 years of athletics at UNF. 80s-themed prom attire. February 17th, the Blue and Gray Bash, bigger than ever before. And don't forget to check out unfospreys.com for news, schedules, results on all things UNF Ospreys.
Streaming right now on Action News Jacks.
Let's get your morning started.
It's local.
Take a look at this surprising video.
It's breaking. It's weather 24/7.
I gotta keep you guys safe.
It's original.
More trucks, more food.
It's entertaining. Now it's new and free.
'Cause no one can do it like we do it, like we do it, like we do it.
Everywhere, anytime. anytime. Stream Action News Jax wherever you watch.
Perfect Rack Billiards has a deal for you. 50-cent Wing Fridays during lunch. Get out of work early, get a head start on the weekend, or just take a lunch break. 11:30 until 3 p.m. on Fridays. Every Friday, Perfect Rack Billiards with 50-cent wings for lunch on Fridays. A perfect place to stop in Murray Hill, play some pool, play some darts, maybe some shuffleboard. Now, that's a heck of a lunch break. And get those 50-cent wings on Friday just to make it better. 11:30 to 3 p.m. on Fridays at Perfect Rack Billiards. Hey, there's a look at Victory Lane in Daytona, and it looks like they're going to have a good day today as well. Tomorrow, not so good. Weather-wise, Sunday is iffy. We could have a long day Sunday for the 500. Last night was the duels, and, of course, qualifying was Wednesday along with Media Day. Tonight, the trucks race, which I always think is real fun, and tomorrow, Xfinity. And then, of course, Sunday, the big Daytona 500. We have Road to Victory Lane special, noon on Fox 30 on Sunday, and then the race, weather permitting. And we kind of have a feeling it could be a long day Sunday, maybe even into Monday. Hard to tell right now and when they would make that call. Somebody was asking me that today. I was like, I don't think they would make the call in advance unless they know it's going to be a washout, because you have too many people coming in from out of town and, planning on Sunday and maybe getting out of town on Monday. So they're going to try like hell to get it in on Sunday. And that's, I think, what they've done in the past. That's why they run it sometimes later at night.
Sunday, Daytona, rain. A tradition like no other.
That's been.
Seriously, it seems like every single year you're talking about
years
this.
ago, and I forget which one this was now. Again, they kind of morphed together for me, but they ended up doing it under, well, they many times had to go with Sunday night. Because it just got pushed back. I mean, sometimes it just finishes under the lights anyway, and the rain might push it, and then it finishes in prime time. And then I think that was a highly rated one, and then they had the one on Monday night, I think, got pushed all the way to Monday night, and that was in prime time. And it made me think, it's like, shouldn't they just run this thing in prime time?
Yeah.
Like on a Sunday night or a Monday night? And I forget what we landed on there, and some of it's just logistics. And tradition. You got the tradition of the 500 when it's run. You got all the pomp and circumstance around it. You got the excitement building. And then you've got to get to the next track the next week. So you do something like a Monday night, that becomes harder to do. But one other thing about Daytona, and I was talking to Stuart about this, and NASCAR, most every time in the NASCAR season there's a big storyline. Mm-hmm. It doesn't feel like there's like this major overarching storyline in racing right now. Like if I say racing, you're like, okay.
Yeah.
I mean, there's usually in a sport going into a season something that everybody's talking about. I'm not talking about the NFL. Everybody talks about everything in the NFL. Yeah. I mean, everything from overtime rules to whatever. But like Major League Baseball, all the rule changes, right? That was kind of a dominating story. Or maybe it's Ohtani's free agency. Or NBA has a million storylines like this. It's kind of interesting that the sport of NASCAR has. They've had new cars. They've had new schedules. They've had retirements and new stars in itself. So not really this year. Feels like a little bit on the quiet side from a headline standpoint.
Yeah, it's wild because for a while, I mean, it was the most polarizing sport with Bubba Wallace. You remember that?
Yeah.
That whole thing? So like that, that had eyes on it for a while. But yeah, it's kind of fallen by the a little bit in terms of, I mean, people are like, that's the thing with it's the same thing with golf, right? Like you're always going to have your fans. Like, so you're not going to hurt in terms of viewership, especially the, essentially the biggest NASCAR racing event of the year. So they'll be just fine. But I get what you're saying. You don't really see a lot of headlines revolving around the race on Sunday.
Brent Martineau Austen Lane as we hit noon on a Friday. We're going to head out to the University of North Florida in just a little bit and catch up with new baseball coach Joe Mercadante as they get set to play Delaware in a 3-game set. And a couple of those games will be played today, moved up because of tomorrow's rain and the forecast. College baseball starts up around the country, and that's a fun time for a lot of folks involved in the college baseball world. Softball has been going for a little bit. High school this week. By the way, we have some big regional soccer matchups around in boys and girls soccer. Basketball state tournament is underway. Busy time of year. Kind of a lot of fun time of year. What do you have going on?
This weekend?
Just some I-9 flag football or something?
Not quite yet. That's coming up around the corner, though. And I'm telling you right now, the team better come in shape because I'll be pushing kids.
Yeah, so you're going to coach. Is this true?
I was asked. Okay, so here's what happened. Played I-9 last year. Season went great. The parents really loved how I interact with the kids because I'm not a in-your-face type of parent. I just want to have the kids let them have fun. So I'm giving high fives, man. I'm supporting. I'm out there, man. I'm doing my thing. So I guess some parents went to the coach and said, "Hey, we need to get Austen as a coach because he's great with the kids. We got to let him do his thing." So the coaches asked me to be a special assistant this year. Lo and behold, hey, it's one thing being a parent and being a fan, but when I'm a coach, different mindset because now reputations are on the line. You know what I'm saying? So now the work starts happening in March, Brett. Mark your calendar.
I think Joe Mercadante knows exactly what you're talking about. I think we're going to head over to the University of North Florida to see if we can test this thing out. And if Joe can hear us, give us. Yeah, I think he can hear us shaking his head. How you doing, Joe?
I'm good. I'm sorry I missed the memo for the Friday Fits. That was I would have stepped up my game a little bit to the ballpark today if I knew you guys were rolling it out like that.
Yeah, you guys have a good fit, by the way. That's just fine. It's my fits that are not fine. You know exactly what Austen was just talking about. You had 9-year-old baseball last night, and now the real deal today.
I did, and it was nice to just get out there and kind of decompress and watch my kids just play the game and just be a dad instead of a coach for a little bit. But it woke me up this morning with a little bit of energy, ready to get going. First day, opening day is always a great day.
I saw you still on social media last night. I got a feeling that you didn't sleep very much heading into this debut at the University of North Florida. How you feeling?
Feeling good. I'm just excited for these guys. They've worked really, really hard. Obviously, you have a whole new coaching staff coming in. That's a lot of new, systems, new foundations, new, fundamentals, and they've just worked their butts off every day. And I'm just excited for them to go out and just play baseball and get a chance to kind of relax with each other and get out there and just do the thing they love to do.
Joe, when you talk about myself coming from the world of, football and everything, when a new coach comes in, there's a new intensity, right? There's a new way of doing things, building a culture. How does it work in baseball and for your staff? What were some of your goals? What did you try to implement?
Yeah, I think, anytime you talk about building a culture, it starts kind of grassroots. You have to get to know the kids. And, we certainly had a way we wanted to do things. All of my coaches that are on my staff, I've known for a good bit, but even our pitching coach came from a tradition-rich program that knows what it takes to get to regional play and NCAA level. And that's winning baseball, no matter where you come from, there's a lot of consistent things that are in play. And we all kind of fell in line as a coaching staff of what we expected in terms of effort, intensity, energy, commitment to what we're trying to do. And so the transition from the coaching staff, we were always in unison, and the players just from day one. Once they saw that we were here to sweat with them, work with them, grind with them, it's been a really good transition. And again, they've been an awesome group to work with.
Marcel Robinson's giving us a look at batting practice going on right now. Let's talk about hitting. What do you see out of this club? They hit the ball pretty well last year, if I remember, but you also lose some key parts of that lineup to all this NIL and transfer portal madness. How do you feel about your lineup going into this season?
I like it. I think, today especially, we've got 3 returners that got a lot of meaningful at-bats for the Ospreys last year. Cade Reich and Cherokee Nichols and Jacob Reynolds are a good 1, 2, 3. And then we've got, I believe, five returners, 4 newcomers in the lineup. So a little bit of a mix with some new and some old. But, last year, obviously, they hit the long ball a good bit. We're going to be able to do that. But, Coach Holt, who's running the offense, has done a tremendous job teaching how we're going to run our game, which is, trying to pressure the other team. We're going to be in motion quite a bit more, be able to play the short game, be able to pressure the other team. And when you have that, it creates different ways for you to score runs when you're facing a really good arm. And no matter what conference you're in, you're going to run into some Friday nights where you got just a bear on the mound and you got to find a way to scrap a couple across. And Coach Holt's done a great job kind of getting that in play and teaching them how we're going to do things. So I'm excited. I think we're going to certainly have a different lineup at the end of the year than we have today. That's always the case, right? But, we've got, 12, 13 guys we feel like we can rotate into the lineup that are going to give us some good at-bats and also have different ways to help us offensively.
Brent and Austen Show, and we're live at batting practice before the season opener with Joe Mercadante, kind enough to join us for a couple of minutes before a new era starts for the University of North Florida Ospreys. They'll play 2 today against Delaware in a 3-game set. This is interesting, right? You don't really know your team yet, and you sure as heck don't know the team you're playing yet. It's kind of a wild time when you open up like this.
It is. There's certainly technology has come a long way with, advanced scouting and understanding your opponent and getting video and metrics and, numbers. But there's so many players that are moving from place to place this day and age. And, this team has a lot of new players from, Delaware have a lot of transfers from the JUCO market where they're kind of the unknown guys. There's not as much video as you find at the D1 level. So you certainly come into this game kind of having a feel for what the opponent is, but also just focusing on your strengths. So, this is, as we told the guys, we're not going to be a finished product today, but we're going to be in a good position where if we go out and execute what we're good at, we're going to be fine. But, it's always kind of a wild card when you get out there just to see what the other team is. And certainly, as you said, you think you know your team, but it's always different when the guy with a different jersey steps in the box or is on across you in the pitcher's mound, that's for sure.
Hey, Coach, this is Jason Hamby. Can you kind of take us through your weekend starters, your lineup specifically for this weekend, and what strengths you think your pitchers will be at to start the season, and what you're hoping that they'll kind of grow into as the season progresses?
Yeah, so our three starters for this week, and Will Ross is going to get the start in Game 1. Will redshirt last year had an arm surgery that he's bounced back for, and has had a really good preseason for us. Big guy, has got some angle down the mound, not going to blow you away with the fastball, but has 3 good pitches that he can kind of mix as he needs to and elevate the baseball work in, be able to throw the changeup and the breaking ball for strikes. And we're excited about him, and he's only going to get stronger, as I said. He's in a good spot coming out of surgery, but is only going to get stronger as he gets some more reps under his belt. And then obviously you got Mr. Reliable Peter Holden's going to be, we just wanted to keep him, he's our one starter, but wanted to keep him in that 6 o'clock slot just because that's where he knew he was starting. Didn't want to change it up too much when we, flipped it to the doubleheader. But, Pete, you can't say enough about him. He is not going to blow you away with anything, but he pitches with the mindset of a guy that throws 98 and will go to both sides of the plate, will double up, triple up on pitches. He's a dream from a pitch calling and just competitiveness. One of the better teammates you're going to find. He's a great kid, and I'm super excited to see what he's going to do with this year. And Tony Rocca is going to be the third starter for us on Sunday, and Tony's got some stuff. He's going to be a guy that's going to be a low 90s to mid 90s guy. Has a good breaking ball, has a good change up split, and is able to miss some bats. So those three are our starters to roll out there to start. But Coach Mike and Drew have done a tremendous job developing the depth of the staff. We feel like as you're looking at it, we've got some numbers to run out there. We've got some guys with some different looks, some different arm slots, be able to come in a little bit more breaking ball heavy out of the bullpen and just match up. And that's what this becomes because, over the 3-game series, especially when you get into conference play, you're going to have to go to some different arms. And certainly as you look ahead to, ASUN championship, you can't just win that thing with 6 or 7 arms. You're going to have 9, 10, 11 guys that are going to be able to contribute. So, developing that pitching staff is going to be a big thing for us and making sure we're not just rolling out the same 8 because you're certainly going to have to lean on more than that when you get to the postseason.
Coach, I'd love to ask you a follow-up on Tony Rocca. He's not a guy who's afraid to let you know that he's jacked. Are you a fan of the gun show that he supports up there on the mound?
Tony's the thing I love about Tony is Tony's himself, and he's comfortable in his skin, and he's got his own way of doing things. And I think a big thing we talked about is guys, be yourselves and make sure you get fired up and show off the guns a little bit if you need to, but also keep yourself focused on the task at hand and be a good part of the team and carry your part. But yeah, Tony, I love him, man. He's the guy that is meal prepping. He's always in the lounge cracking out his Tupperware with his 2 lunches and his first lunch and then his second lunch, and but he's on top of it. He's a great dude, and certainly a guy that we enjoy having on the team for sure.
Come on, those pitchers are like goalies and like specialists in football. Those guys are the strange guys, but they're the life of the party too. You got to have them, and hopefully he does well this weekend. All of them do. Joe Mercadante, I'd love to go shag some fly balls out there right now. The batting practice is always fun, but we appreciate you taking a few minutes. Come on out and take
some swings one of these days. We'll get you a couple rounds, see if you can get it out. I'll make sure the wind's blowing out for you, though.
Yeah, definitely make sure, like big time blowing out. Joe Mercadante, we really appreciate you taking a few minutes. I know it's a busy, fun, anxious kind of day for you and the whole team, but thanks for taking a few minutes with us.
Thanks for your time, guys. Appreciate it.
All right, good luck to Joe Mercadante and the UNF Ospreys as they play at 2 o'clock. First pitch right over here on the campus of the University of North Florida. Play again tonight at 6, and they'll try to sneak in a third game as well with Delaware this weekend as college baseball season starts up. Nice job by Marcel Robinson and everybody back here trying to get that together. I keep saying this word, we're like TV geeking out back here, but we really like the idea of being able to do that.
Yeah, that's insane, man. That was really, really cool. I mean, coach, behind the scenes, the players warm up. That was a really cool thing we just did.
I told Coach that last night. I said, hey, we're going to try this. I don't know how it's going to go. And, again, he's making his day. They're 2 hours away. There's a lot going on for a coach on a game day. And so we appreciate him taking a few minutes and helping us try that out. I did tell him, I said, hey, we're going to throw a mic like in a practice on your shortstop, just like MLB All-Star Game or field. Or maybe it's Roca. I mean, it sounds like we've got to get to know him more, who's been on campus for quite a bit and done a nice job for them. So we'll see how the Ospreys do. Someone did tell me over there this week that they lost a bunch of like 1-run, 2-run kind of games last year, and they've got a lot of players back. They don't have all players back, but they have a lot of players back. And even though it's a different regime, what that person told me that had been with the club last year, he's like, I think we're going to win a lot of those games that we lost by 1 run or 2 runs. And that was, to me, a very nice compliment to what Joe Mercadante and this coaching staff have already done. So we'll see if that's the way it pans out this year for the Ospreys. All right, back to some football talk here at noon. We'll get some noontime news as well. And there was one comment or topic or thought, if you will, from the Super Bowl that I haven't got to, but I thought it was interesting as it relates to sports. Someone said it to me, and I was like, you know what? I think that was right. And we just don't see it in sports very often. I'll bring that up. Plus, NBA Slam Poetry on this Friday as we put a bow on the show in week number 2. Thanks for hanging out with us. Just be yourself. Maybe we're talking about being a dad or a mom, a first responder or a teacher. Maybe it's a sports fan. We love those. We're talking about anyone in the Jacksonville community. At Community First Credit Union, just be yourself means being real. When you partner with Community First, it's straightforward. They're people connecting with you, so you can be yourself. I've been coming here to Community First for years. This is the Barcher branch, the one I usually come to, and they have mortgage loans, personal loans, and auto loans, and I'm almost done paying off that truck loan. Just a few more months. Good rates, easy online banking, and friendly customer service when I have a question. It's easy to be myself with Community First. They live up to the slogan in their name. Community First has partnerships in the Jacksonville community with the Iceman, the Florida Theater, the Jacksonville Zoo, and many more. Visit one of the Jacksonville branches or find out all you can do with Community First Credit Union at communityfirstfl.org so you can just be yourself.
Start your morning right. Start your morning right.
A new day, a new traffic headache. But Action News Jax traffic expert Maritza Ross is here to guide all kinds of daily drivers, like the traffic dodgers,
Don't worry, I'm going to get you around this mess on I-95.
the side street seekers,
Now you can exit early on 17 due
the
to...
last-minute leavers.
If you're getting a late start this morning, here are your fastest routes.
So let Maritza save you time on Action News Jax this morning.
Start your morning right.
Navigating to that perfect car can be a daunting task. Trust me, I understand, but if you want to find the perfect blend of sales and service for your automotive needs, look no further than the Tom Bush family of dealerships.
Here at Tom Bush, they do things right. Dating back to 1970, they've been a staple in the community, giving back and keeping everything local. With 4 different brands to choose from, BMW, Mazda, Volkswagen, and many, there's a car for every member of the family, and the customer service is second to none. Looking to add an electric vehicle to your fleet? Tom Bush remains at the forefront of new technology with plenty of staff on hand to walk you through the future of driving and help eligible customers file for that EV tax credit.
Whether you're looking for your future driver's first car or you want to step up to luxury and arrive in style, the Tom Bush family of dealerships is the only stop that you need to make.
Stop by the showroom or check out the inventory at tombush.com.
I've been forecasting the weather for a long time, and no matter where I go, I always get asked the same question.
Hey, Mike, what's the weather gonna be like?
Hey, Mike.
Hey, Mike.
Mike, hey, what's the weather going to be like?
I don't mind being asked because I always have the answer. Great day for a perfect round of golf. Hey, little rain later today, so go ahead, Ask me.
Hey, Mike, I'm heading out. What's the weather like tonight?
It's the same question, even at home.
Mike Burrish, he's got your weather answer on Action News Jax.
Go where all the pros go. Jacksonville Orthopedic Institute takes care of athletes at the highest level, like the Jacksonville Jaguars players. They will take care of you, too. Our team covers a lot of teams here in Jacksonville: FSCJ, JU, the Axemen, the Jumbo Shrimp, the Sharks, and, of course, the Jacksonville Jaguars. JOI covers all those teams as well. And then there's youth sports. My kids play baseball and softball. And whenever we have an injury question, the first call is to JOI. Jacksonville Orthopedic Institute has been serving Jacksonville for 30 years, and they have over 30 specially trained physicians and assistants at 5 locations in the area. If your injury is specific to an area of the body, JOI has a specialist. They also are leaders in robotic surgery, joint replacement, and sports medicine. JOI Rehab has 13 locations and 90 therapists to get you better. Comprehensive care with caring physicians and staff at JOI. From youth sports to high school, college, and the pros, Jacksonville Orthopedic Institute. JOI. Go where all the pros go.
When the sun sets and night begins, Action News Jax is working to bring you the big, important stories at 11 you need to know about.
Live in downtown, from Orange Park,
From the South Side.
From all over Jacksonville, we keep you informed on local news happening now and get you ready for what's next tomorrow.
Plus, Chief Meteorologist Mike Burrish has the area's most accurate forecast to help you plan for the day ahead.
Live at 11, it's worth staying up for CBS 47 Action News Jax.
When you think sports, you think Action Sports Jax, the official station of the Jaguars, on location for every game. But the most experienced team in town doesn't stop there. From high school football to the big events in the area, Action Sports Jax is always on. Coming soon, we take that to a new level. Action Sports Jax 24/7 is around-the-clock coverage of the teams you love and the moments you can't miss. The best local sports in Jacksonville on Action Sports Jax 24/7.
There's that 12 o'clock at Timuquana. We're just going to show the clock every time. Now it's 12:15 now, but I mean, can we just use that every time on the show?
Sure. I mean,
it's a lot of love for Timuquana. And by the way, none of us are ever going to be members over there.
Oh, for real?
It's a little pricey.
Is it really?
Yes.
This is in Jacksonville?
Yeah.
Well, it's like private, obviously.
Yeah.
More expensive than DPC?
Well, TPC is a different animal because it's not really like a private golf course. It's more very, I guess you would categorize TPC as a resort golf course, kind of. Even though they don't really have a resort on property, they use the Marriott as the resort part of it.
Sure.
I don't know. You can belong to TPC.
Mm-hmm.
But like the big, this is one of the costliest memberships in town, Timuquana. Timuquana might be the best golf course in town.
Okay.
If you took a vote amongst golfers.
Are they featured on the Dream 18 card or not?
They are not.
Dang. Try to set you up there, man.
That was very good, though.
Yeah,
Action Sports Jax, Dream18.com for
there
your
go.
golf discounts. But you cannot get a membership discount from Timuquana.
Breaking down golf courses today. And,
I like that.
Brent Austen.
Well, we're talking a little bit about everything.
Yeah, talking about golf, that's fine. I thought we had a rule there. UFC 298 actually taking place this weekend, everybody. Alexander Volkanovski versus Ilya Topuria, who you may remember from his Jacksonville debut
Was
against
that the one I
Josh
was at?
Emmett. You might have been there. I might have been there as well, cursing up a storm as I was. But yeah, going to be a great weekend of fights taking place in Anaheim, California.
So give us an update, actually. I'm glad you said that. Where are we at in the UFC world of, hey, here's what's on the horizon? Like, is this a huge one? When's the next big one? And then obviously you got yours coming up to be announced.
Yeah, I thought you were going to announce it right there. I'm like,
You
yeah, man, go ahead and take my moment from me. I don't care. No, this is going to be a big card. It's a pay-per-view card, so check your bank accounts accordingly. But it's featured Alexander Volkanovski, friend of the show, Alexander Volkanovski, one of the very few athletes that we actually allow to swear on our show because he swore so much that our dump button ran out. I'm not sure if you're here for that day, Brent, or not, but needless to say, a great guy, former rugby player, former 205-pounder, now fights at featherweight, which is just ridiculous to even think about, man. So for those that are wondering, featherweight would be 145 as well. So he'll be fighting Ilya Topuria. It's going to be a striking battle. Topuria undefeated, 14-0. He's from Germany, but he claims Georgia and also Spain as well. He's Spanish. I forgot who the soccer player was that came to Jacksonville to watch him perform. Really famous, Sergio Ramos, maybe? I didn't know who he was, but he was like it's a big name. And someone was like, dude, that's like Sergio. I'm like, if his name's not Lionel Messi, I don't care.
Ramos, but yes.
He's okay. Hey, once again. Hey.
You got it. I just wanted you to be right.
I got it now. Yeah. But besides
Don't push it. This guy has hands that are illegal.
There we go. In all the states. Except Wisconsin for some reason. And then Robert Whitaker, Paul Acosta, rounding out a co-main event. Paul Acosta, they call him the Juggernaut. This dude's, he's got a body built by Greg Jones, taking on Robert Whitaker, who they call him the Reaper from Australia. Just an all-around great guy, known for playing video games with his dad. Both him and his dad are gamers.
Really?
And play the same games. Yep.
What are you known for? Playing video games with my dad. That's an interesting one.
No, I mean, it was all over the UFC, the prep show. And,
did you know?
Yeah, it's like they had Paul Costa bench pressing 500 pounds, and then here's Robert Whitaker and his dad we're playing League of Legends or whatever you want to call it. So that, and then also we're going to talk about Merab Deshvali from Georgia taking on Henry Cejudo. They call him Triple C. Won a gold medal and has won belts at 2 divisions. This could be Henry Cejudo's last fight if he loses this one. Him and Merab have been going back and forth for a while. It's been a long time coming for this fight. So, check it out if you want. It'll be starting, I think, at 6 p.m. from Anaheim, California. Check your local listings, obviously.
I'm going to put you on the spot here. I just tweeted this out, and maybe others will jump in. But best UFC fight you've seen in the last year?
Ooh. Oh, that's easy. That's my teammate that I help corner, honestly. And I'm biased, sure, but Ramon Tavares versus Sadi City from Toronto.
That was up in Toronto?
That was in Toronto, yeah.
And it was a great fight? Or, I mean, I know you obviously biased. You have...
Yeah, no, it was an insane fight. City got his nose broke in the first round. I got blood on me, actually, from that fight, just because he was leaking so much, and the guy would not go down, and he would not, stop fighting. And then he got, actually, my teammate a couple times as well, and it was a war that went back and forth. So that's easily my fight.
How long did that one go?
Remember? It went with the whole...
It went
the whole duration.
Decision.
Yeah. It was.
But your guy dominated? Did you kind of know you were?
No. So it was a split decision. And it was a split decision in the opponent's backyard, which I was super nervous for. So, if you go back and watch, you see me on camera, it was when they said, and we have a split decision, I'm just like, crap, we just lost. Cause that's what I was thinking, because that's the way it usually goes in someone's backyard.
What? How much do you like that?
Like what?
Being in the corner.
I mean, it's the most nerve-wracking thing ever.
Of course.
Because when I make the walk, I'm in control of my destiny. I can right my ship, so it's all in my hands, and I'm okay with that. I accept that. When I'm cornering somebody, when I'm coaching somebody, I got to believe that I've done everything in my power to get that person ready for their fight, and then I also have to focus on making sure that I give them the correct instructions to get them through the fight. So it's a lot more on my plate, but also it's out of my hands as well. It's up to them. So it's just it's the fear of the unknown that's really nerve-wracking.
I don't know what... how you can experience the best and worst, feelings, the emotions.
Yeah.
There's a lot of things probably in life. I'm not going to dumb this down and say this is the only thing, right? But there are a lot of things probably in your life, depending on what you like, what you're passionate about, what's important to you. But when I ask that question, it's there's no doubt about that. When you watch your kids play, it is the most nerve-wracking thing, even when it shouldn't be nervous. At least for me. But it's also the best. And I always say it's the best, good or bad. I know the bad, there's going to be good stuff that come out of it. And of course, the good is the good.
Correct.
But it is nerve-wracking. It is way more nerve-wracking, and people will say this, to watch than it is to play. When you play at any level, But I wonder about that from the professional ranks. Does Doug Peterson feel that way? Does Joe Mercadante right now feel that way? Does he watch he's going to go watch his own kids, or does he feel a higher role in that he's going to make decisions so you're in the moment much like a player is, so you don't really think about it, work that way? Because otherwise, if I was those guys and I had to do that 56 times a year, and I didn't just have my kids, but I had all these kids or all these players, holy cow, no wonder why they get gray fast.
Yeah, no, without a doubt. And it's wild too, the most times that I've been nervous have occurred with more like amateur fighters that are just starting out.
Yeah.
Because like, I guess just because like fighters can relate to being an amateur and kind of coming up a little bit, because there it's more of like, all these feelings are still kind of foreign to you. Right. But like as you progress in your MMA career, well, I guess, whatever sports career, you start to get a little more acclimated and things become a little easier. But yeah, man, I mean, I think Doug Peterson, I think every coach still gets a little bit of those nerves. It's just, it's part of being human, but it's what makes the sport so great.
Get your noontime news ready, but don't do it yet, Hamby. I've got one more thing that I want to get into. Ty was the one that actually said this to me, I think Sunday night or Monday, and I think he was right.
Okay.
He said, I don't think anybody lost the Super Bowl. That it felt like a game that was won. And how often in sports does that happen? Not very much, right? I mean, a lot of times you lose the game, or most people feel like they lost the game. Now, do the 49ers feel like they lost the game? Extra point,
punt return, blunder,
decisions, maybe even taking the ball. Like you
Christian
can
McCaffrey
find
fumble.
ways, but Kansas City made mistakes in that game too. So from the outside looking in, without a dog in the fight, like I get what he was saying. I kind of feel the same way. Like it felt like that was a game that won. You know why I feel that way? Because in overtime, first of all, it goes to overtime, so you get extra time, and it was a great drive by San Francisco. It just got stymied after 3 points. So it's not like they went 3 and out or 6 plays and out and punted it back and then gave Mahomes a chance to go kick a field goal. That would have felt like a little more lost. But this one felt like it was won. And at the same time, it was an exciting game that there were no reviews in, because I've always said I think part of the reason that boring Super Bowl of 13-3 was the score, but there was also no drama. There was no controversy at all.
Yeah.
And then the last part about this game that I want to sneak in, we complain about the refs all the time. I don't know if the refs were awesome in this game, but the refs had zero to do with this game, at least on the outcome. It felt like we're not talking about them coming out of the game. And every Monday after an NFL game or an NFL week, we're talking about the refs in some capacity.
Yeah, they didn't have a lot of influence on the game, which was nice. There's a couple things here.
I did see the hold on both sides.
Yeah, I was just going to mention that.
They have not been called for a holding penalty in their 3 Super Bowl wins.
No, they're getting away with it, man. It's highway robbery. Listen, still being an athlete, I guess myself, I never liked the narrative of that you lost the game, right? Like, I'm sure the 49ers think that, right? Like, yeah, we lost it. We had it in our clinches, and we made some mistakes, and we lost it. But I will never take away from the hard work from the winning team. Like, when you win a game, there's not an asterisk next to that win that says, well, they won, but technically, like, the other team gave the game away. That's not how it works. So, yeah, there's wins and losses, and, yeah, if you lose a game, that'll be counted as well. But I will always give the team that wins the benefit of the doubt, because you still had to make plays to get to that point. Now, maybe there were easy plays to make. Maybe there were plays that set you up nicely, but nevertheless, you still had to make plays to win. So I'm going to err on the side of the team that says, hey, you guys won the game. You earned it. Congratulations.
Yeah, that's interesting, and that's very nice of you to say as an athlete. I think when you've been there and you do that, there's a respect for that. I don't think most of the population believes that. I just don't think we look at it that way. We don't look at it through that lens. Now, should we? I appreciate that a lot. Like, you know what? I went to that UFC fight here in Jacksonville. One of the biggest appreciations I would say I've ever had watching a sporting event was that night for the athletes.
Yeah.
And it wasn't the fighting was one thing. The atmosphere was kind of cool. It was totally different being there instead of TV. There's a bunch of different things. But it was the respect and admiration they had for each other after the fight, win or lose. That is a hard place to get to, man. We're a bunch of sore losers.
Yeah.
And as fans, we're a bunch of sore losers. And we're all competitive. We don't like to lose board games or whatever games. But I do think when you've been in it at the highest of levels, there's an appreciation for it. And I think it's cool when people find that, because I do believe that's something that a lot of us won't find. Like, we just won't ever find that. We're going to complain about how much we lost or our team lost, or we just don't look at it through that lens.
It's funny that you say that in terms of like a mutual respect and admiration, because I do agree with you that you see this all the time. And it seems like the more physically demanding sports, you see that a lot more.
I agree with that.
Like, you don't necessarily see that a lot in golf sometimes.
No,
I mean every once in a while.
I
Yeah,
see.
it's
It's also a weird one because it's kind of like
gentleman's-
sportsmanship is king.
It's still
you know,
a gentleman's sport, and I understand all that. But like you definitely see this in boxing, you see this in fighting.
Yeah.
Because like if you conquer the fear of going in that cage or that ring on the biggest stage, and whether you win or you lose, but you put your body through hell, and you come out the other side still breathing. Yeah, there's a new found respect and admiration just because like you just accomplished something, you just went through something that a lot of people will never understand. So like you share that moment together. I think football can be said with that as well sometimes, right? I think hockey, I mean, obviously they preach the handshake after a playoff game. And
there's
man,
that.
keep in mind, some of these guys really, really dislike each other,
Yeah.
right? There's some big rivalry, some bad blood year in and year out, but they still have the respect. Because once again, hockey's a very violent, physically demanding sport, even though they kind of took some of the fighting away, but it is what it is. But you still see that handshake because that's the admiration, that's the respect that you have for playing such a violent and physical game.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think it's pretty cool when you see that admiration and respect, and especially right after in a big moment, because that's like the highest time you can really show your ass a little bit and kind of lose yourself in the moment. I think Feliciano actually tweeted about it and did that to reference back to another story this week. All right, Hamby, what you got? Noontime News. Where are you taking us? Good beat you've got going on is the bed music.
How we doing, fellas?
Shot looks good, by the way, too.
That's a money shot right there. Looking good, Hamby.
Hey, look, in today's segment, we're going to focus on one man. And it's something that has been pinned up inside me for a long time.
Uh-oh.
And this person may or may not be receiving the brunt of that today. That person is MLB Commissioner Rob Manfred. And I'm not going to hide and say that I'm not biased against him. I have years of issues with this man. Specifically, one of the biggest things, I'll say one of the biggest things, is when he stripped Atlanta of the All-Star game about 3 years ago for the voting rights and stuff like that. That has nothing to do with baseball, whatever. He strips us of the game. Won't get into all that, but he strips us of the game that we, brand new stadium. This is the spot to be. Strips us of the game, puts it in Denver.
Takes notes. Obviously, Hamby holds grudges.
Without a doubt. Yep.
I mean, I probably would have gone. So, but anyway, so Rob Manfred has long been somebody, he's known to be tone deaf to the fans. And it will make changes based off of what strictly analytics or strictly the money, stuff like that. Some of the rules changes last year, like the pickoffs, the timing, some of that stuff good for the game. Some of it not. That's all whatever. People have varied opinions, but this week specifically. So the first things first, twofold. Manfred says that he's going to resign. Okay. All of baseball stands up and celebrates. They quickly sit back down because he says, in 5 years.
I love that. I'm not leaving.
Yeah, I mean, this is Jordan Belfort, Wolf of Wall Street. Who's giving 5 years notice? I'm going to resign.
I don't know. They prompted me to give 20 years notice to my retirement last night.
Well, Brent, you're you're hard to replace.
2044, baby. Start planning for it.
It's a joke. I mean, I'm going to resign at the end of 5 years, whatever. Okay.
It was wild.
Yeah,
did you see it?
I did see it. Yeah.
Just gets our hopes up and just
Gets our hopes up.
Sets us right back down.
Listen, man, you hate man. I've been like this with Manfred a lot. But the bottom line is with Manfred, you have got to give him credit for last year. I didn't know if I'd like all the rules. I didn't like the amount of rules. The bottom line is I've never seen an adjustment in the rules to the degree Major League Baseball had last year, and it worked.
Right.
They basically worked. Nobody's really complaining about it. You can get ticky-tack, you can get traditionalists, you can get all, but the general population is not complaining about what they did. And so I do think he's got to get his flowers for that, or whoever else had made it happen, but it goes under his watch.
Right. I mean, I personally do agree with that. However, I hate the way that the playoff system is worked right now, that he added a 7th team, but that's neither here nor there. The bigger issue is the MLB got new jerseys. Okay, they were with they're now with Nike and Fanatics
and Nike, yeah.
And they who did they use? Was it Majestic? I believe.
I think Majestic was the one, wasn't it?
I don't know.
Anyway, so we're 2 days into pretty much spring training, right? Games obviously haven't started yet, and players are unhappy with the jerseys. Literally pretty much down the list, almost one guy or two guys from every team has come out, tweeted something, addressed it, saying, hey, the jerseys suck. All right, they're not as comfortable. They're not customized to our liking. You can't with the pants, this, that, the other. The biggest thing is that there's a huge arch with the letters of the name. Okay, so let me pull you an example. All right, so this is a look at Kyle Gibson, a pitcher. Right? Let's take a look at this.
Short name.
Okay. This has nothing to do with the name first, but look at that. That's TJ Maxx. That's TJ Maxx.
That's TJ Maxx.
I mean, what are we doing?
You know what I notice?
He said TJ Maxx.
You know what I notice? Nothing.
Seriously?
I notice nothing.
I mean,
I notice absolutely nothing.
There's a picture of.
So you're mad at the arc of the lettering?
There's a picture of Verlander, and his name goes like
That's
all the way down. That's not that long of a name. If we get Jared Saltalamacchia in, if he was still playing,
is that what his name was?
It would go down to his belt.
South Papalcha. I got you.
Down to his belt, Saltalamacchia. So this is that jersey right there. This is what reminds me of the worst jersey of all time. Unfortunately.
It's going to be a Friday Fits thing.
No.
It's probably going to be a Florida jersey or something. Careful.
It's actually baffling to me that this was last year.
I love the stuff that bothers him.
In 2023, Austin, in 2023.
Yeah, I'm listening.
This was an actual jersey on the world's biggest stage, WBC Great Britain.
Well, I do remember that.
That was bad.
Yeah, that was trash. That was a dumpster fire.
That should have led off Friday Fits, actually.
That's as boring as their food.
Somebody took a gray jersey and went into Microsoft Word, and just typed Great Britain, whatever font.
Times New Roman
and
25.
They should have actually really just worn the old Sandlotty ones, right?
No, those
where you go the white
horrible.
shirt and you have the yellow on the sleeve or something, or the blue or the green, they should have gone the old Little League shirt there. Because that was worse.
Yeah, that was bad.
Look at you. You complain about rules and uniforms and backward hats.
Have you guys seen that Antonio Brown is in the news right now?
Uh-oh.
What did he do?
So Dove Kleinman reported, this is a fun fact, J.J. Watt and Antonio Brown played on the same offense together in Central Michigan in 2007. Antonio Brown went on to quote tweet that, saying about J.J. Watt, "Before bro went steroid crazy. Hashtag CTESPN."
Oh, gosh.
Take that for how you want.
He is off the rails, man.
Yeah. J.J. Watt steroid allegations.
Also, Jimmy G in the last hour.
It's kind of like Jose Canseco making an allegation, it feels like, with Antonio Brown, though, doesn't it?
Yeah, a little bit.
Speaking of drug suspensions, Jimmy G has a 2-game suspension.
I saw that. What was this? What did he do?
I can pull it up right now.
I just saw the headline, but I was like, are they talking about Jimmy Garoppolo?
Yeah, Jimmy G, who is set to be a free agent, has already said that he's not going to appeal. It says, for using a prescribed medication without having a valid therapeutic use exemption from the league, according to sources. I don't believe it details what it was.
Oh, Subway probably went, whoo! 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 Is this a tuna or not?
Woo! Whatever he's taking.
Oh, Jimmy G.
That's how you get that good looking.
That's what I'm saying. Dude, that's a good looking dude, man.
I mean, hey, I'm
Jason Hamby Jr., you know what I'm saying? Hey.
There it is. There it is.
Jimmy G. You know what's funny? You don't hear a lot of guys getting busted, and I guess we do have some PEDs. Didn't the Jags have somebody for 4 games last year, or was it the year prior?
I don't know.
It was Cam Robinson, wasn't it?
Oh, shoot.
Oh, yeah. kind of a bigger
It was
name.
Cam. So I guess you do hear about people.
You do. Yeah.
But it just doesn't seem widespread. Maybe it was maybe because they've loosened up marijuana, whatever the suspensions are. Maybe we've gone a little ways now without a domestic incident that has got someone suspended. It just feels like we're not on a run of suspensions in the league, although obviously we're actually on a betting suspension now.
Yeah.
Right? That's actually the one that's getting everybody's attention more than anything else.
But without a doubt, though, but once again, with Taylor Swift running the show now, it's like we don't even notice it anymore. I had no idea Jimmy G got suspended for 2 games, man. I'm
it just
Swift
came
news.
out. That's the noontime news.
I got you.
We are going to take one final timeout, and when we come back, a little NBA slam poetry to end the day. And then the weekend begins, and that includes Daytona International Speedway. You can watch the Daytona 500 on Fox 30 this weekend. Don't forget about Action Sports Jax Primetime, 10:30 on Fox 30, 11:30 on CBS 47. We will be in Daytona. And, of course, our noon Road to Victory special, Road to Victory Lane, special on Fox 30 as well on Sunday. Hope you're heading into a good weekend. You won't want to miss what's next. NBA Slam Poetry.
In Northeast Florida, we love hanging out on the back patio, maybe grilling out lunch or dinner with the family, enjoying the good weather, or maybe enjoying the big game on the TV. Or maybe your favorite team in town, the Action Sports Jacks team. This is great, except for when it's really hot or the bugs start coming out. But what if you didn't have to worry about that? Titan Outdoor Solutions will make your outdoor area a comfortable spot any time of the day, any time of the year. This makes too much sense. Titan Outdoor Solutions can give your home an upgrade. Customized pergolas, awnings, controlled shade, even retractable screens. The solution to beating the heat and the bugs and getting more use out of your home is Titan Outdoor Solutions. And this can even help prevent storm damage at your home. Living in Florida and living in your home is already good. Now make it great. Quality products, custom work, locally owned and operated. Visit TitanShuttersAndScreens.com or call 904-484-7580.
Investigative journalism. It's the difference between the Action News Jack style of news and everyone else's.
I'm Ben Becker. This scam is targeting residents on the South Side.
We investigate so you're crystal clear how a story impacts you.
I'm Emily Turner. Take a look at the fine print because you're still getting billed.
Because our reporters don't just tell you what happened. We break down how it affects you and your neighborhood, which is why people are putting their trust in us. Action News Jacks at 5 and 6. It's local coverage you can count on.
Stop by the new car sales event happening right now at Greenway Kia at the Avenues. $500 in a job gets you in a Kia. And Michael Montiero and the staff here at Greenway Kia are here to make it happen. Experience great customer service and become a part of their family. And while you're here, check out the Kia Forte GT line, full of comfort, innovation, and has driver assist technology. And how about the affordable new Kia EV9, the fast-charging, all-new electrical SUV with high-performance capability, 3-row seats with 304 miles of maximum driving range. Over 1,000 new Kia models, some starting at $199 a month. And as always, get the 10-year, 100,000-mile limited powertrain warranty. Come shop at Greenway Kia at the Avenues, located on Phillips Highway. You can shop online at greenwaykiaattheavenues.com. And remember, $500 and a job gets you in a Kia at Greenway Kia at the Avenues.
Before Action News Jacks at 5 breaks today's top stories, know this. We're asking the tough questions for you.
Were you targeting the Tebows?
Our team of reporters are relentless.
Do you have anything to say to your former employees?
Working to find answers.
If we wait in the parking lot, you'll talk to us on camera.
Never stopping.
Have you paid back any money?
So you know what's really going on.
Your own counsel said it was an investigation.
I'm just asking questions. I mean, is it a conflict in your mind?
Action News Jacks at 5. It's local coverage you can count on.
It's a big month of hoops ahead at UNF Arena. The Ospreys are playing well and in prime position for a good seed in the A-Sun tournament come March. And we want to see you at the arena on February 17th. There's not a game that night, but we do have a lot of fun planned with the Blue and Gray Bash, the annual UNF party. We will be there with Action Sports Jacks. Dan Hicken and I play host. You just bring the fun. The event raises money for student-athlete scholarships at UNF. It's in the arena for the first time. Just click on the QR code you see or head to unfospreys.com for more information. It's an 80s-themed night with a sit-down dinner, drinks, live band, silent auction, and so much more. February 17th, VIPs get in 5:30 until 7 p.m. Then the main event is 7 p.m. until 10 p.m. Celebrate 40 years of athletics at UNF. 80s-themed prom attire. February 17th, the Blue and Gray Bash, bigger than ever before. And don't forget to check out unfospreys.com for news, schedules, results on all things UNF Ospreys.
Streaming right now on Action News Jacks.
Let's get your morning started.
It's local.
Take a look at this surprising video.
It's breaking. It's weather 24/7.
I gotta keep you guys safe.
It's original.
More trucks, more food.
It's entertaining. Now it's new and free.
'Cause no one can do it like we do it, like we do it, like we do it.
Everywhere, anytime. Stream Action News Jacks wherever you watch.
Perfect Rack Billiards has a deal for you. 50-cent wing Fridays during lunch. Get out of work early,
Get a head start on the weekend or just take a lunch break 11:30 until 3 p.m. on Fridays. Every Friday, Perfect Rack Billiards with 50-cent wings for lunch on Fridays. A perfect place to stop in Murray Hill, play some pool, play some darts, maybe some shuffleboard. Now, that's a heck of a lunch break. And get those 50-cent wings on Friday just to make it better. 11:30 to 3 p.m. on Fridays at Perfect Rack Billiards.
Hey, welcome back, Brent and Austen Show, and we're about ready to put a bow on week number 2 of this endeavor. Feels like we've been going at it now for months.
It does, really. You know, not to sound cocky or anything, but I was a little worried, like, would the chemistry still be there? Would that spark still be there? Oh, Brent, it's like we never left, right?
Yeah, never at all.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we just added Hamby to the mix. He's the problem that I had to worry about.
I was a little nervous as well. Young guy, right? I mean, top heavy, but hey, at the end of I say top heavy, I mean like in draft per se, like, you know, has a lot of momentum going from is he going to burn out? Absolutely not, man. Hamby's in it for the long haul.
Plus,
I appreciate it.
Plus, he's giving us plenty of ammunition.
Yeah, you're not making it easy on yourself, Hamby. At least with Casey, it was like, okay, he's pretty quiet, calm demeanor. Hamby puts himself out there, man. I appreciate it. He likes what he likes, and he hates what he hates.
That's very strong opinions, guys.
Tell me I'm wrong.
Very strong opinions. Be careful with those.
Yeah, for sure.
Make sure you're ready for the other side of it.
Yeah.
Brent Martineau, Austen Lane, Jason Hamby, and big thanks once again to everybody here with our staff, Action News Jacks, Action Sports Jacks, for some of the things we've been able to do and more where we're going. And appreciate your patience along the way as we are post-football season now. They'll spend a lot of the early part of the show talking about Ryan Nielsen and his comments and what it means. You can always go back and listen on the podcast. Hamby puts that up immediately following the show. And also subscribe to our YouTube channel, Action Sports Jacks, and you see the show daily there from 10 a.m. until 1 p.m. And coming soon to the Action Sports Jacks 24/7 network. It is definitely on the horizon. All right, we finish a Friday.
Yeah.
With a little NBA slam poetry.
In the finest club there is. Jason Hamby runs a great club here. I'm in character. Brent, do we go with the glasses up or a little Doug Peterson effect with the glasses a little down?
I think up.
You think so? I like this a little better.
Do you?
Yeah, I kind of feel like a beatnik.
Okay.
You know what a beatnik is?
No.
Yeah, it's like a guy that dresses like this. Look it up. All right, and hopefully, Hamby, are the buttons ready? Because I spent a little extra time today on this NBA Slam poetry, so expect some vibes. Hey, don't try to fight him, Brent. Just go with him.
What he's saying is he put the work in, so don't screw it up, Hamby. That's the translation.
Pressure's on, Hamby. All right, sounds great. We all ready to go?
We vibing.
Here we
Brent,
go.
you got your snaps ready?
I practiced the snapping.
Got your ooms ready? Okay, here we go, everybody. Phoenix Suns. Now let's call them the Phoenix Karens. What a fail. Turn to your left. Now turn to your right. Now face the front. Hey, Isaiah Stewart, welcome to jail. Ooh. Oh, that's a vibe. First one off the bat, a little Bible alert. Turn up a little bit next time, though. It's all right, though. I'm not too mad about that. A little upset. Shh. You guys, don't make any noise. Draymond's on the court taking a much-needed siesta. Wemby dropping triple doubles with blocks. The team may suck, but hey, San Antonio, they got a fiesta.
That's good.
Thank you very much. Households, get ready because we got Jalen, Tompin, Jamie, and Mac. Nah, that's not a boy band, and we wonder why the dunk contest is always whack. Hit the button.
No good ones?
It's a vibe. Did you recognize any of those names?
Was this planned?
Yeah.
Okay.
Just hey, don't fight the vibes, Brent. Just go with the vibes. All right, where was I now? LeBron going to Golden State. I was sick. Somebody get me some Vicks. The king isn't going anywhere. I'm not talking about LeBron. I'm talking about Uchimara. Dropped 36. Uchimara. You want to say Uchi? You got to say it one time. Uchimara. No. Put some bass in the Uchimara. There we go. Uchimara.
Ah, there you go.
Yep.
That was good.
Somebody wake me up. The Bucks are horrible. This is all a bad dream. Only Doc Rivers could take Dame and Giannis, but still lose to a Memphis G League team. They literally had nobody playing last night, and the Bucks still lost. I'm not snapping anything.
Don't snap anything.
On to the next one.
Snap Doc Rivers out of there.
On to the next one. Draymond, wake up! I don't like this. He's been laying there for 20 minutes. Somebody give him a tea. What the hell are you doing, Draymond? This is a basketball game, not Stranger Things Part 3. Hit the button. It's a little hot in the
taking a lot out of you.
Little hot. Hey, and we got Shock Your Mock coming up with Friday Fits. I'm gonna have a heart attack.
We better move that to Wednesday.
Oh, we better do something, Brent. I can't do this all the time. All right, last one on the books, Brent. Let's get out of here, man. Let me scroll down a little bit. Lost my spot because all the sweat.
On that 3-inch phone.
Good point. Hey, call Portland because the font. I messed that one up. Hey, call Portland the Fonz because they have truly jumped the shark. Shout out to the best thing going on in basketball right now. I ain't talking about the Joker. She is her. Call her Caitlin Clark. We see you, Caitlin.
Good way to finish.
Whew. And this has been session 2 of NBA Slam Poetry. Tip your waitresses, tip your star tenders, and we'll see you groovy cats next week.
Where were we? What city?
What do you mean?
We got to get a new destination each week on the club.
Oh, I like it.
How about that?
Now we're talking.
Right?
Yeah.
Give us the vibe again, just for fun. If you have it. Did Casey find the music or the background music, the glasses and the drinks pouring?
Oh, I think you did. Yeah,
I think way back, and we kind of recycled that.
How was there audio of that, by the way?
I know.
Recorded that?
Where'd that come from?
I know.
It's a good find.
It is a great find.
Austin, I need you to set me a line for the odds that Brent knows what song that's from.
Oh, I mean, Brent knows that's plus 25,000.
More than that.
Plus 25,000. Hamby, you know what it's from? You know what it's from, Hamby.
Yeah, Father Stretch My Hands.
Let's
Kanye West.
go.
Do you think he would have asked the question if he didn't know where
That's
it's
a good
from?
point. Well, I
Do
mean,
you think he's learned to be self-deprecating yet?
I would say
he's
the
23 years old.
Brent, don't act
That's
like
why
this
we
is a
gotta do
young
this for
person
him.
thing. There's old people. My mom probably knows that song.
Good song.
So what is the song?
Father Stretch My Hands.
Kanye West.
Kanye West.
Probably. There's probably one of 3 songs of his I know, unfortunately.
There you go.
3, that's it.
Just
I'm
just
not a
dropped a new
rap guy.
album. Yeah.
What do you listen to other than Rush?
A lot of country.
You're a country guy.
I also listen
down
to
with that.
Yeah, a lot of classic rock, a lot of country, and a little bit of reggae.
Oh.
What a reggae.
Like, like the classics, or do you go off a little the deep end of reggae?
I go a little bit newer stuff. Tribal Siege, Revolution.
Okay.
I went to the
man.
movies a couple weeks ago. I saw the previews for the Bob Marley movie.
My son wants to see that
And
one.
I like to go see it.
I think my son and I are going to see that probably next week or 2 weeks.
Yeah, I'm not a movie guy, but when I go to the movies and I see the previews,
Yeah.
of like the 400 previews that they show,
Well, it's 20 minutes worth.
and I'm like, I want to see like 80% of them.
No, for sure. They do a good
It's a
job.
good thing I don't watch more previews, or I'd probably be at the movies more.
But see, that's the cool thing, or maybe the detriment to the movie theaters is when they say the movie starts at 4 o'clock, it's really 4:20 because
it's beautiful for me.
because it's 20 minutes of just previews.
I was built for the movies.
Yeah,
You don't have to get there on time.
Brent's MO. Tom Coughlin, going crazy in a movie theater. Can you imagine Tom Coughlin showing up to go see, I don't know what's coming out now, The Marvels maybe was out. I'm sure Tom Coughlin would go see The Marvels. Pulled up at noon. No, pulled up at noon for a 1 o'clock viewing. Didn't start till 1:20.
I have this great visual in my mind. Like, now I'm super curious if Tom Coughlin has been to the movies twice. Because once he went once, he wasn't going back again.
No.
He was probably out of his mind.
It's noon. What are we doing?
Like, when is this thing going to start?
Yeah.
Oh, that is so
man.
good. Like, in my mind, I'm just like, I bet he never went to a second
Oh,
movie.
I guarantee it. Maybe probably took like the Giants training camp to a team movie, for team bonding. Got there at 12, started at 12:40. Yeah, he's out of there.
Well,
Never
no, this
go
is the
again.
NFL now. He said, cut the previews.
That's a good point.
Right? This thing
He has
starts
the-
now.
He has the power. They have the power, yeah.
Hey, you've been getting your early works in for your fight.
Yes.
Does that include the weekend, or do you take the weekend off?
Oh no, man! Come on, I'm an equal opportunity every single day kind of employer, man. I'm going Saturdays. Now Sundays I have off.
Okay.
But Saturday mornings I'll get some workout in as well.
All right.
Sparring.
Sparring work,
Yeah.
Saturday mornings.
Yeah. Do you want to come train or what?
I thought about that
Mm-hmm.
for a second,
Mm-hmm.
and it was like, no.
No?
I actually thought about this the other day. I was like, if I lost some like crazy bet with you and I had to get hit by you in a sparring session,
Okay.
how much would it hurt
To the face
kind
or
of question is
or
that?
like a body shot?
I genuinely thought about this.
Okay.
I'm not gonna lie. I'm like, okay, like what if he hit me like in the like a rib shot?
A kidney shot?
Well, not a kidney shot. Don't go for like a organ.
I
Like
would
Brock
rather go for an
Lesnar?
organ than break a rib.
I don't know. Would you? Like, what kind of pain would I be in? Should I rather get hit in the face?
I mean, I don't want to hit you at all, man.
Well, I appreciate that. I'm just saying, like, what if I had to?
Where would I hit you? I would probably hit you more in the body than the face. Marcel had a good. How about I leg kick you?
I thought about that. So
Yeah.
where am I getting kicked in the with your leg?
Outside of the calf or the hamstring?
I mean, it would be outside the calf or hamstring, and it's going to be behind it.
Like that might break.
Not behind. No, you're fine.
I can't.
But,
You can't
hey,
break my leg with that.
No, I'm going to damage some nerves though. You may not be able to walk for a little bit. May have some crutches on standby.
You'd be curious. Yeah. See,
Yeah,
I
right.
was kind of curious myself, actually.
I mean, because that's the thing. You watch these UFC fights, especially guys that do a lot of leg kicks. They just take them over and over and over and over
But
again.
you can
so
tell
much.
they sting.
No, but
Yeah.
they do them so much where they can become numb to us. There's like the guys
Well-
that get on the receiving end barely react, and then they've received their 10th one, and you're like, if I took one of those, I'm not standing. This guy's taking 15.
Yeah.
And he's still up and fighting.
He kicks me once. I look like the Karate Kid on my next the next time we met.
Well, and that's the
square
thing
up.
too. Obviously, Brent, we talked about it before. You know, you can kill the nerves in your shins and helps you as a kicker. Now, I know you had Ken Shamrock on a different show who said differently. You can actually kill the nerves.
You
Yeah,
actually try
yeah.
to, right?
Yeah, I mean that's the goal. I'm not sure what Ken
It's called shin conditioning, Ken.
I'm not sure how many kicks Ken Shamrock did in his UFC career. But you can actually kill the nerves in your shins.
Thanks for listening, by the way.
That's why
that was the only time I did. I wanted to see how it was going to go.
Hey, he was pretty good, actually.
You guys did good. Yeah.
That's why the monks, they'll just kick a tree
Yeah.
over and over and over and over again.
Yep. True story.
True story. I was thinking about that.
I mean,
Like
we
when
can
you
arrange
when
it.
you spar,
We can do it in here.
you wear like headgear, or no?
Yeah, no.
You don't.
No, but we wear big gloves. Like 20-ounce gloves, 18-ounce gloves.
So
things
they're
like
less
that.
impactful.
Yes, correct. But they're heavier, which you think heavy kind of is counterintuitive, but there's a lot more padding.
Yeah.
You can't hit it as hard.
Well, it's the
so-
whole like UFC bare knuckle versus boxing type of
Yeah.
conversation that we've
Yep.
had in the past.
Yeah, I
But-
think a leg kick is in your future.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nah, I don't need one. I just.
Well, I mean,
I was
very
thinking about it.
Curious about it.
I was really curious. I was like, I wonder could I survive? I'm not survive. Like I don't think I'm gonna die. Well, maybe I would. But
Yeah, you're not gonna die, man. You're fine.
but I was wondering like how much that would hurt.
Or
Like would I be concussed?
Brent, you and I could both take leg kicks, and we could compare how we do.
That's fine.
So
Well, then if we're gonna compete, then I'll definitely do better than you.
when I was getting my physical therapy done for my bicep that I ruptured, it was at Brooks. You know, so a lot of Jaguars trainers work there as well. Shout out to Fred. And Fred made a habit of me choking out the intern staff. So swear. So he's like, "Hey man, show me how to do a rear naked choke." I'm like, "All right, Fred, come here." He's like, "No, do it on this person." I'm like, "Okay." So like this poor guy is like, "All right, all aboard."
The intern.
All aboard the Sleep Express.
Poor guy.
Yeah. Done
That
a couple
happens
times.
fast, by the way.
Oh yeah, you done it yourself.
I had.
Matt Hughes, by
Matt
the way,
Hughes, yes.
not the guy you want choking you, man.
Yeah,
Matt Hughes,
legend.
is a beast. Exactly.
And yes, I did not know it happened that fast.
Yeah.
I didn't even tap out.
It's creepy, man. Like it's like going through a peephole, right? You kind of like it's dark, and
That's
Good night.
it.
Yeah.
But he actually caught me before like the it part.
Okay.
Like he knew that I was going before I knew I was going.
Yeah.
It was a pretty wild experience.
Yeah, man.
I
the
bet you
human
could pay
body's
money
crazy.
to put. I bet you could like. It's like the county fair. You just show up.
Yeah.
And you put people in rear naked chokeholds,
Okay.
and they pay like $20.
OnlyFans. Okay. OnlyFans.
Pick your
Austin's
favorite-
gonna move on, do that, and also take people for walks.
That's right. Yeah. Hey, by the way, take a walk, then go for a nap.
That's it.
I mean, this is a hell of a service.
He's got both ends covered.
Oh man,
That is
I
a
love it.
Friday find.
That is a Friday
right
find.
there.
I love it,
to end
man.
the show.
Yep.
All right. You have a good weekend sparring with everybody but me.
Appreciate you.
And Hamby, have a good weekend, man.
Yes, sir.
College baseball. Be tuned in. I bet you will be.
I will be. I'll be in there.
To your Georgia Bulldogs. Any good at baseball?
They're going to have a good year.
They
Also,
should.
we got Florida-Georgia basketball tomorrow as well.
They got a new coach.
Yeah.
Georgia baseball does, yeah. They should be way better than they've been. So have a great weekend, everybody. Daytona 500 is the big story for us on the TV side, CBS 47 and Fox 30. So we'll be down in Daytona Sunday. And, of course, you can watch all the coverage on Fox 30. But check us out all weekend long with Action Sports Jacks Prime Time, and we will be back at it Monday for Week 3 and 1 week closer to this brand new Action Sports Jacks 24/7 network coming to Jacksonville. And, oh, really? You can watch it all over the globe. Have a good one, everybody.